Welcome guys, welcome. We're going to be playing some ZEPHON today. We're going to actually treat this as a tutorial. I actually have been trying to record a tutorial. I'm just finding that it's taking too long to actually keep it sort of good for the YouTube algorithm. So I'm thinking a live stream is going to be the best way for me to do this. The game is just loading in, so just bear with me. It does take a long time to load. What else is there? Yeah, I'll go through the game actually once it actually does start. It's a funny game, you know, like it's sort of one of these games. I love the game. I love what they've done. I love all the additions that they've made. It's certainly like it's far beyond Warhammer 40,000 Gladius in terms of it now has diplomacy. Like is a massive one. Even the like terraforming happens on the world itself, depending on sort of what you've got. So there's a lot of parameters around that as well. A lot of different things. The combat system is very much like Gladius, so if you've played Gladius before, you will feel comfortable with a lot of what happens in the game. People actually are concerned that it's going to be too similar to Gladius and it won't give them a different sort of gaming experience, but they're like, even just with the diplomacy side of things, they have done a lot of work to make it the next iteration essentially of the series. Because if you've played the original game Pandora and then came into Gladius and now go into ZEPHON, you will find a common theme with the way that these games do play out. It also looks quite similar to Gladius, so I do agree with people's comments that probably they should have tried to do something a little bit different just in the overall look of the actual world itself. So you can see it's certainly built on the Gladius engine, or the style of engine. So I'll go through what I consider to be the positives and negatives as well. A big negative I have, in fact my main negative with the game, is simply how the cutscene presents the actual game, like how the cutscene doesn't even slightly relate to the actual experience you have when you play the game. And I find that fairly surprising that they actually have that particular cutscene. I think I'll play it when it does come in. It does take a long time to load in the actual game itself. I should have probably loaded it before I started recording. But that is my biggest bugbear, is that the cutscene at the start, the introduction video, really doesn't promise anything about the gameplay. And yeah, it's like, I've got to say, like, to be perfectly scathing about it, it is one of those things where oh, here we go, it is actually the release. I've got the release version. This is great. So yeah, up until now I've actually had a pre-release version. So I think, is it released today? Maybe it releases today. Maybe it is release time. Perfect timing on my part. Perfectly planned. Completely not planned at all. As I say, I've been recording for the last couple of days to try to put together a tutorial, and so and that's why I thought, look, it's taking much longer than an hour or so like that just to sort of get through the basics. So I thought doing this as a live stream tutorial would be the best way to do it. If you are watching this live, then please ask questions. If you have any questions about the game, I can deviate off and show what's where. Typically, if you have a question about the game, you know, it will be something that somebody else is also wanting to know. If you haven't played Gladius, if you haven't played Pandora but are interested in the game, I will be trying to present it as if I'm presenting to people who haven't played those other two games before. But I will still make reference back to Gladius, just because there will be a lot of you who have played Gladius and you'll be wanting to know, why is this different? Why is it better? Is it worth getting? One of the other negatives with this game, I guess, is the fact that it's just not Warhammer 40,000. You go into a game, when you're using something that's got the Warhammer universe around it, you've already got a level of understanding of the different types of units and what they're going to do. With a new game that doesn't relate to anything at all other than its own IP, which is what ZEPHON actually is, then there is no reference back to something you can just quickly latch onto and go, oh, okay, Space Marines, I'm doing this, you know, or you know, whatever it might be. The Necrons, you know, like it's those sorts of things you're going to be able to. In Gladius, you can latch onto immediately, and this has nothing to do with this game, of course, but that is a bit of a negative there, simply because that lack of immediate understanding of where you are due to the lore is a bit difficult. So I'll do my best to explain fairly simplistically how that actually does work. Hi, Mr. Fleagle's math class is saying, hi, Daz, is it better than Gladius? I bounced off that after 3 or 4 hours, either 3/4 of an hour or 3 or 4 hours. Yes, it is, because there's so much more in it. You've got diplomacy, you've got all sorts of different things like that. It's a similar style of gameplay, though. It's still difficult to get established. It's a game that you actually have to still play fairly cautiously when you do play it. The AI is just as good as Gladius, and Gladius had one of the best AIs that I've ever come across in any game. And this game is no exception. It's the same, you know, the same company essentially. So it's got the same sort of decision making underneath it, except it now has a layer of diplomacy on top of that as well. So you know, there's a lot to like about this particular game. I actually hope that after this one has sort of run its course, that they then go back and make a Warhammer 40,000 Gladius 2, based on what they learned from this game, with all the additional things like that this game actually has as well. This game has got a lot of other things that happen with the actual world itself. Now, if you bounced off Gladius, there's a chance you will bounce off this as well, simply because the gameplay, when you get into the nuts and bolts of the gameplay, will be fairly similar. So I'll do my best to sort of explain how to approach the game. It will be, I think, one of the most important things, and also some tips as to how to look at these games before you go in. I think that's the key to playing these sort of fairly medium complexity games. Like, you know, you do have to invest a bit of time in understanding them, and so hopefully this little tutorial, this live stream tutorial, will actually help with that. So I'll have a quick look at the patch notes just to see if there was any changes. Just game release, there we are, that's what we got. Great. Okay, so we're going to go to new game. Now, I've sort of kept everything on. I'm just going to click on Restore Defaults, and we'll just go through a few of the little things that I would suggest that you change with the actual defaults themselves. So in this case, it's actually, before I even do that one, I'm just going to go back to the settings, and I'm just going to restore the defaults in here as well. And we'll just go through a few of the settings you may want to change before you start playing the game. So we've got like different things, like we've got general, we've got video, we've got audio back and through there, controls, like the different ways you can sort of go and do these things, or network. I'm not going to worry about sort of changing like the audio settings, etc. I'm just keeping that on 50% master volume, so I won't go and reset that. But under the general tab, there are some things in here that you may want to put on just for your own understanding of the game. So most things are on, like auto scroll to action, auto cycle through units, which is fine. I'll keep all those things. Screen shake, so shake camera for explosions or large units dying on the screen, which is fine. Show the attack area, so always show the unit's attack area. When off, it can still be shown by holding shift. I like to have this on because it does actually show you what you're dealing with and what you can do, and so it makes life a little bit easier. So I'm going to turn that one on. Showing the cliff highlights, I think this is very, very important with these games. So it allows you to know if you attack across something where the cliffs are highlighted and you've only got melee weapons, you can't do an attack. If you've got a combination of ranged and melee weapons, only the ranged weapons will then be able to fight across a cliff. So it's important to know where the cliffs are. It's in fact vitally important. So I'm going to turn that one on. Show the grid. I think that I personally now prefer to play with it off, but when you're trying to learn the game, it is easier with it on. So I'm just going to flick that one on as well. All the other stuff I'll just leave where it is. Performance we don't need to look at. That's just going to be sort of like how the computer's performing. The tips, I'll probably end up turning these off, to be honest. I think I'm just going to turn them off. It's not too bad the way it does work out because the tips appear and then disappear after a couple of seconds. So they don't stay there where you have to then interact with them. We can always turn them off in game. I might leave them on just for the start. I won't reset the tips. Yeah, so anyway, we'll just go through there. We'll just go close. If it's your first game, then yeah, absolutely look at the tips. So we'll close that one. That's the settings. So the settings have now been gone back to defaults, and now we've actually changed them to we've personalised them. That cliff facing though is very, very important in this game and in Gladius. So both very, very important. New game. Now, when you first start off a new game in through here, you'll find that your your character will be the fallen soldier, and then you'll have a few randoms that you're then going up against, and that's fine. Like it's the fallen soldier, I think, is the easiest to understand of the actual of the factions that come with the game. I'll go through how the factions work. Actually, I'll do that one right now. You have 3 different affinities, is what the game calls them. You have the human affinity, which is at war with aliens, monsters, and machines. So, and it knows no borders. This soldier is sworn to protect all human life against extinction. It starts with militants and gains early access to human technologies. And so there are different, 3 different affinities in the game. We've got the human affinity. We have the like in the emulated mind, we have the cyber affinity. And so this is the sort of like an android/machine mind sort of group on the actual map itself. And affinity is not a hard set, you are playing only with that. Affinity means that you have got a bent towards that grouping, but you can still embrace the human and also the alien. The furtive tribunal in through here, this is a voice affinity, and these embrace the eldritch/Lovecraftian alien presence on the world. And so this is sort of like the group that you have. And so all of different factions, the emulated mind is cyber, human, voice, cyber, human, cyber, and voice. So you've got 2 voice, 3 each of cyber and human. They all have different other benefits. I'm not going to go through each of these, but the Fallen Soldier is fairly easy to understand. Again, if you have played Gladius, think Necrons. That's sort of what you're playing here with. And Necrons are the easiest of the factions, I think, to play in Gladius, and this is very similar to them. So what we end up having through here is Undying. The Fallen Soldier's followers carry a piece of his flesh around to share in his uncanny healing power. Units regenerate hit points each turn, exactly like the Necrons in Gladius. Military background. Decades of training taught the Fallen Soldier to secure transport as fast as possible. Starts with an Outrider instead of a third squad of militants. So we end up with a transport sort of attack vehicle. Instead of, we would normally start off with the human affinity with 3 militant forces, which are sort of like low-level infantry. But we end up with only 2 militants and 1 Outrider, which is like a small buggy that can carry around 1 militant group or one infantry group. Leave no man behind. So bringing every soldier home comes with a heavy price. So unit upkeep for the Fallen Soldier's army is increased. So it does cost 30% more in your cost to keep the units on the battlefield. Survival training is elite. In a crisis, only the best soldiers will make it out alive. Spend influence to increase the experience of a unit. Now, there's certainly things you'll see there, like bringing every soldier home carries with a high price, and in a crisis, only the best soldiers will make it out alive. This has no bearing at all to the gameplay. So those little things are just flavor text, and I wish they weren't there, to be honest, because when you're actually looking to see what what the specifics are, I don't think we need to have these sort of flavor text in amongst things. And the game errs on that it errs slightly on this flavor text side and doesn't quite hit the mark with it. So anyway, but the important things are that we get healing power. That we end up with a Outrider at the start, that it costs us more upkeep, and that we can spend influence to gain experience with a unit. Now, all of the factions have like differences. This one here, for example, has got an Oblivion weapon that makes it an incredibly powerful weapon at its home base, but it is trapped in the home base and can only actually work from there. Now, you'll notice here, if you've sort of been sort of just glancing through the text, that the word ZEPHON appears here for the first time. And this is actually ZEPHON, the name of the game, is actually to do with the cyber affinity. And again, I would suggest that until you start to play the game, it's going to be confusing, because you're going to think it's all about, the game is all about ZEPHON. Is ZEPHON the boss fight at the end of the game? No, it's not. Is it something that you have to always go and embrace? No, it's not. It's just a single entity, one of many in the game, and of equal importance with the others. So it has no bearing at all on the actual game itself. So they've made all these decisions, I think, early on. Maybe they had different ideas, I don't know, with the devs, and where they showed like the game is called after this entity. The cutscene is all about the aliens and pretty much nothing else, and we will see that, and I'll show you what I mean when we get into that one, which actually sets you completely off beam for what the game is about. So hopefully this little tutorial will then just sort of be able to get that back on track for you, just so you get your head into how to play the game. All right, let's go and close. We're going to go and play Fallen Soldier. I really like this one, actually. I really like playing as this one because it's fairly simple as well. This is a good one for a new player. But the game does suggest Fallen Soldier, so we'll just go and play that one through there. I mean, to be honest, I like just playing random, personally, but I think as a first experience with the game, the Fallen Soldier is a good one to go with. Close. Okay, so we're now just going to go and start. And, before we do get started, there's a few other little things in through here as well. Advanced parameters. You do have a few different things you can set through here as well. So you've got, like this is, you can play in Iron Man mode, which I won't. Quest pace, just how quickly new quests trigger, or if at all. I don't like the quests in this game. I'm just going to turn them off. Just go to none. What that does is it sort of gives you a false direction to go with the game, to then try to achieve different things to get benefits. And I prefer to just play the base game, like just, so that we're not sort of being directed along. But for the first games, you may want to turn that on, just so that you actually do get that, or guess that interaction with, with where to sort of head. Escalation pace, I'm just going to sort of keep that one. This is adjust how quickly the escalation towards the final finale progresses, and if at all. In this case, standard is fine. Fixed teams, this one will then turn off the diplomacy, and so you can see there, don't allow players to change war and alliance status. No, let's have a look at the diplomacy. Most of these are actually fine. I probably won't have to need to really change any more of those, but it's just those quests I personally like to turn off. And then the last one, which I haven't unlocked any of these yet, but these are mutators, which can then change your gaming experience. But we won't go through these, but certainly down the bottom with some of these, what are you? Can only research technologies with your affinity or with no affinity. That just keeps it very, very pure. If we're playing as the humans, we can only get a human affinity. If you're playing any other way, you can essentially, the normal way that we will be playing, we will be able to go and get voice affinity and also cyber affinity units. And so, depending on what we find on the map, we will have access to those, and I'll explain that when we get in there. Things like unlimited tile acquisition range with the ZEPHON was ZEPHON truly alive, etc., etc. Anyway, we can't turn any of those on just yet, so we'll just get started and we'll watch the cutscene now. And eventually, here it goes. And I'm really scathing about the way this works.
Judgment. We were tested, and almost everyone just failed.
The premise is an alien force crash lands on Earth.
Mysticism shattered an era of enlightenment and ushered in the dusk of the 21st century.
So we end up with these eldritch creatures which corrupt the world.
Millions of lives were lost in a heartbeat, turned to ash, and cast away.
I think that's to sort of show that it's now a desolation landscape.
Our soldiers were gone.
This has no bearing at all to the game.
Driven by an enigma in the networks. Their surviving forces waged a desperate crusade against the machines. We became bystanders to a relentless war.
So the machines rise up after the aliens take over.
Now our world is an ever-twisting nightmare.
And the aliens don't take over, it's just that they basically corrupt the world.
Every whisper and shadow.
It's very Lovecraftian.
There is no glory. Only survival. Deliver us from this trial. Reclaim our world. For mankind.
Really doesn't explain the game even slightly. So I would like in the other ones that I've been trying to record, I've been not even showing it because it's it has zero bearing on the actual game itself. So so that's what sort of where we are with when we come into the game. Let me just explain how the user interface works in a fairly very basic form. You have your basic resources at the top through here, which I'll talk about. Over the other side here, you have different things you have access to. If you want to find out who you are, you just hover over that one through there. and it gives you the same information that we saw at the start. We can also then just go to mark tiles, so place a marker for yourself and your allies. AI allies will tend to move their units towards markers. So once we get into the alliance system, we can then interact. And if you're playing multiplayer, and this game will be very, very good multiplayer game, if you are playing multiplayer with the game, then you'll be able to communicate fairly effectively about what you then go and do. Back over through here, you've got the concordant. These are trade resources. You've actually now, this is different to what we actually had in Gladius as well. We now have a trading group, the concordant, which does allow us to then, so everyone knew the concordant, but no one knew who they were. Maybe survivors on the surface, maybe a ZEPHON fork, maybe an old corp reaching out of the 20th century's grave. So anyway, it's essentially a black market where you can buy things. So if you do need access to stuff, you can go and get it. The compendium is your best friend in this game, and we will be looking at this one in some detail when we start to make evaluations about what to do. So we'll do that fairly early on, so that you get a feel for how to use the compendium. It's one of the best resources in any of the games that this development company put together, to be honest. It's like whether it be Gladius or this game, it really is helpful to be able to know what to look for in this and how to sort of then progress forward. And then finally we have just the escape menu back over through there. On the right hand side, any times we come across something new or if we take any damage, that will then be shown on the side through here. We have a thing just telling us we've got 4 units that we need to order at this point in time. And then we have a mini map. We're starting in the south, or slightly the southwest of this particular map. We can expect the other 3 entities to be in the cardinal points of this particular area. It can be helpful to go and click on each of these. So Survivor's Bazaar was discovered. That will be this one through here. Actually, that's different again. The Survivor's Bazaar. Nope, that's another microchip fabricator. We've got 2 microchip fabricators. Now, this will be interesting again. Oh, there it is down there. Survivor's Bazaar is a capturable outpost back through there, and along with these and through this other side as well. So we've got a few different things on the map that we can sort of see. As we come across new concepts every single game, it will then show what they are. If I click on this, it'll just go straight to the compendium story about what this thing does. Most outposts, which is what this actually is, will actually have different bonuses that they'll give you if you go and capture them, and essentially, and this is sort of like in Gladius, it changed depending on the faction that you were with, but in ZEPHON, it actually just is, it sort of is what it is. But healing will be improved, etc., etc. Anyway, I'll just go and close that one off. So it's now disappeared from that list, and we've now got another one in the list to then sort of go and talk about. Now you can see there, comics was discovered. Now comics, there should be a name somewhere. Comics back over here. You'll find regions have got names in this game, and what it is it's an algorithm for how that region is put together from the topology and the terrain. And so the comics region won't actually have any real detail. It's just a region on the map. Then we go into other things, for example, like a human cache was discovered. And so we should find that. Is that the human cache? Yeah, that's a human cache up the top through there. It will then tell us what we might get from a human cache. So we can find energy, food, influence, minerals, and research. We could also find different things like a trauma kit, spotter drone, reactive trigger. So there's a random group of things that we may get by just going across. This is essentially like a little treasure pile that we can just go and grab. We've found some water. So water, is basically something we can't cross with our normal units. We found a little lake of water there. It'll go through all the different terrains, which I won't go through all of them. The microchip fabricator was discovered, and if I go and click on that one through there, again, it'll tell us that we end up getting chips. Now, let me talk about the actual resources in some depth. So when we go have a look at these different things, we've got the food resource up through here. We're getting -2 food per turn. We've got 20 in our stores. The next one across is minerals. We're losing 4 per turn at the moment, just from the actual units that we actually have. And we've got 60 in reserve. Energy, we're losing 1 energy or 1.3 energy per turn, and we've got 20. The next one across is algae and chips. These two here are to do mainly with the algae is mainly to do with the aliens, so with the alien presence or the voice affinity. And so if we had like a lot of capacity to actually go and get algae, we would then look to switching across a little bit and maybe bringing in some voice affinity units, so some of the corrupted units. would be one way of doing that one. The chips are the cyber affinity units. This is what they have. Now we've got 2 chip fabricators, and so we're going to get extra chips in through here. So we should look at what we can do with the cyber units to enhance our own forces, because we're going to have input with these. At the moment, like the food is mainly just used for human and voice units. The minerals are primarily used for human and cyber units, but these are uniquely cyber and these are uniquely voice. Just thinking of those 2 in through there. Then we've got the influence. Now all of the factions use influence, and we can spend this, as we sort of saw when we have a look at this one down at the bottom there. It says survival training. In a crisis, only the best soldiers will make it alive. Spend influence to increase the experience of a unit. But we'll need to spend that anyway, so we probably won't be doing much of that survival training. And then finally, we've got research. We're not getting any research at this point in time. So they're the different resources we have to manage with what we're doing. Let's just go and have a look at our actual units, and we'll just explain how these actually work. So with the units we actually have, we've got a group of engineers, and when I click on the engineers, again, I can just go through, maybe I'll do this in the compendium just so you can see what we have. Typically what we start with is engineers, in this case, militants, and because we're starting as a fallen soldier, we end up with this outrider. So they're the 3 different units we start the game with. If we go and press F1, we then bring up the compendium. Actually, before I get started, we've got Cascadia saying Battletech was one of my favourite sort of slideshow intros in recent memory. Battletech, I don't remember the imagery for that, to be honest. Oh yes, I sort of do with the story. Yeah, that presented the story very, very well. And Realzik is saying, I'm really looking forward to this. It's a very, very good game, and it goes well beyond what Gladius did. So what we're going to do is we're going to start off. There's a few different things in here that you really want to be looking at. One of them is buildings. So you want to have a look at that one through there. We'll come and have a look at this one in just a minute. Then we've also then got the units back in through here as well. And you can see they're sort of all over the place. That's interesting. It's sort of, they've lumped them all together, which is strange. Okay, I haven't looked at it from this side, to be honest. In Gladius, you actually have it so that you can actually sort by the actual group. You've got leaders back in through there again as well, which I'll talk about when we get a little bit deeper into the actual game. Actually, maybe this isn't at the moment as valuable as the Gladius one, because they've actually just lumped everything together. They really need to have like a secondary element to sort of show this. I wonder if there is a way to show this one. It doesn't look like there is. Okay, well, look, I was going to go through and actually explain, like using the buildings as an example to explain how to look at the units, but it may actually be a little bit overwhelming, to be honest. So I didn't look at that before I got started. Features are sort of what you find on the terrain, but it's very good what it does do, but it's just not going to help us that much. There are different types of weapons as well. There's a lot of stuff in here, but it's not sorting, which is surprising. Actually, I'm surprised that that's the case. Well, I would consider that a negative in terms of what they could have done with this, because if we go to the units, you can see it's just overwhelming with the number of units that are actually in here. We'd have to know what we have. I'll just see if we go to, say, the Outriders or even the Militants, which is where we sort of start off. It does give good information when you actually get to them, but you have to know where to go. And we should be able to sort by humans, for example, and just get the human units, that we sort of need. It's sort of very strange. Very strange. I don't know why they've done it that way. It's almost like I feel like there should be some other thing to do it. Well, okay, I'm a little bit disappointed in that, to be honest. So, Gladius does a great job of that, and this one does not, unfortunately. So anyway, the militants, when we have a quick look at these guys, it's very important you understand how your units will then work. And so just hover, I tend to just have a quick look and see what they've got. They've got 6 in the group. Each unit in a group will fire. So when you see the weaponry, like the damage that a weapon will do, you multiply it by the number of units that you've actually got in the group that's currently alive. And so in this case, we've got 6 units. We've got armor protection, And so there's about 8.3% protection for each level of armor that you end up having. And so in this case, we've got 33% armor damage reduction. So this will then just help protect our units. And 4 is good for these low-level units. We've then got the hit points, so just 12 hit points. So that means that every unit there's only 2 hit points per character back in through there. This is the morale, and so morale will be very important as we get into the game, but it's not something you have to focus much on. You can see there that units will become shaken and then eventually broken. And when they become broken, they're very, very easy to finish off. We've got movement, so we can move up to 3 tiles, and we then have different actions. So we've got, like, if we use the actions, it will then also consume all the movement at that point in time. If we with the movement, the number of tiles a unit can move through in one turn. Rough terrain requires more than a single movement point. So moving into a tile adjacent to an enemy ends any movement. So if we end up having to sort of find where we're going, like with the movement, we may sort of find that we're sort of moving too far away, or whatever it might be. Now I'm just going to go and move this unit. I can't really reach any of the other resources with this one, but I can just go and take this microchip fabricator. So I'm just going to right click, and it will then just move in there. By the way, sorry, with the militants, look and see what they've got in through here. The assault rifle, and there's a lot of information that we see through this other side. So it's got one target essentially. It's got the in fact I can do this one. I will do this one through the compendium, because I can then hover over what they all sort of mean. So if we have a look at the actual weapon itself, if we go and click on the assault rifle, if we have a look at assault rifle, in fact, if we just go to weapons, yeah, I don't like what they've done with this actually. I preferred the original one in Gladius, where it was all segmented out and made it sort of much easier. I'm not sure why they've done this particular one. So when we have a look at this one, it's showing that a lot of different groups can actually make use of this particular weapon. And so we've got, like, the damage is the damage dealt an enemy unit with each attack of the weapon. So it does 1 damage per attack. We've then got the armor penetration of 0, so it doesn't penetrate armor at all. It's got the number of attacks, so number of attacks weapons makes against its target when a unit is attacking with it. It then actually has the accuracy, and so this is up to 12, I think. So 12, I think, gives you 100% accuracy. In this case, 6 is essentially 50%. We're going to get 50% accuracy, which means that half the damage won't actually hit. So we'll end up with only doing 3 damage. Now, it is an exact number of hits that go through. So if we were firing with this thing, we would actually have 50, like 0.5 damage actually hitting something, unless we could enhance the accuracy. It has a range of 2. It also has traits, and it's important to understand the traits of your weapons when you are playing the game. So traits are close quarters fire, and it has plus 100. So this is the attacks. So plus 100% attacks at half range. It fires twice. So that would then mean that at half range, it would actually end up doing 1 point of damage because of the 50%. So it would actually, that would then change to a 2 at half range, at 1 hex. So that's, 2 hexes is the range. 1 hex is close quarters fire will then kick in, which will then double its damage. So that's sort of where we are with the assault rifle. And again, it's just important. All of the different groups will have that. If we go to the Outrider, we can see that it's, again, just got 1 unit in its group. It's got 6 armor, so it's got 50% armor damage reduction, 24 hit points for the 1 unit, 8 morale. It's got higher morale than the militants. It's got 5 movement, can move further. It's got 1 action for its attack, and it comes with a heavy machine gun. And so this one here, you can see it does 2 damage with the actual machine gun itself. It's got 2 armor penetration, so it can actually get through 2 of the armor of different units. It's got 3 shots, so it does 2 damage and fires 3 times per attack. So in this case, essentially, it's firing 6 times, and it's again only got 50% accuracy, so the damage is then halved, and it's got a range of 2, but there is no other constraint with this one. So this one fires at range 2 or 1 and does the same amount of damage each time. So that's something we don't really have to worry about. The engineers, we won't really be focusing on that much when we have a look at this one. There's only 3 per size. They're only armed with pistols, and they've only got a range of 1. So these are not combatants. But what they can do is do different things. For example, down in through here, they can found cities. They can repair mechanical units. They can tune mechanical units for one turn, and so they can actually end up with enhancing the accuracy. So in this case, the accuracy would go up from where was it? The accuracy was 6, which was 50%. That would go up to 8 because they have a plus 20% essentially accuracy, and so the accuracy would go up to 8, and it would then mean that more damage would then be done with the weapon. By the way, decimal points aren't shown up through here, but they are a feature in the game, like with damage and with everything. So there is like a 1-point decimal system there. Traplayer is saying, I just randomly typed in ZEPHON in the search bar and you came up. I'll post this in the Discord channel on Proxy since we posted your review a while ago. We're eager for the release today. Yes, no, it's a game. I think it's going to be a great game. And I said before when I started off, I went through as many of the negatives as I could think of, just to present the things that I find confusing with the game for new players. But overall, it's a great game, and certainly it really enhances where Gladius left off, type thing. So anyway, we've got that particular outrider in through there. With the with the militants, initially, a rule of thumb I would suggest that you follow when you're playing the game is don't assume that you're just here to expand as fast as possible and that you're going to send out all these different scout units to do different things. You really need to support your units, so be very, very careful with how you present them. So in this case, I can go across here and grab the other chip factory. You can see I've now got +1 chips from this chip factory. But I can also now zip across and grab this chip factory. I can do that with this militants. And I'm thinking I might do that with the militants. So let's just go across. And look, we're within one move of each other to be able to then try to fix things up. And so we are doing a little bit of scouting. Now I could actually go with the outrider. If we go down to the bottom here, we're sort of moving down towards the bottom of the map, which may still be a good thing. But I could just grab this human cache as well and see what we pick up. So let's go and do that one there. So Tele YouTube is saying I've been looking forward to this game for a while. I've enjoyed the development of the game a lot. As I say, it's really just the cutscene at the start really doesn't present what the game's about, and a lot of the information doesn't really present what it's about. I'll explain what it's about as we come across things in the game itself. So we'll just go and grab that cache in through there. I'm just keeping that close to this unit just to sort of help. Now we ended up getting research from that one. We ended up getting, you can see down through there, we gained 24.4 research. We now actually have, our research is now sitting at 24.4. So it only shows the 24, but there is the 0.4 accumulated as well. Now that's going to help us enormously, and we'll get to that in just a minute. We now actually, the first thing we really need to do in our first turn, because we don't want to be wasting any time if we can do it, is to form a city somewhere. So we've still got one more unit. We've got one unit that can still move, which is the engineers. If we go and click on the actual found city and have a bit of a look, it's suggesting either here or here. Doesn't suggest up there, which is interesting. Okay, so what we end up having through here is, and does it say, showing anywhere else? It really is just those two spots. And when I hover over, what you'll see is when I hover over this one through here, there's a little symbol, like a little hexagon with 3 lines inside it, with a number 2 next to it over the target area. That's just showing there's only 2 building slots inside that area because there's a forest taking up the other slot. If I go out to here, for example, there's 3. So we could build 3 different buildings in that particular region, but only 2 here. The thing is, though, this one here gives me like other different benefits. We get plus 10% of the minerals coming through. We get plus 20% to any chips that we produce because it is a chip factory, and we get plus 20% research for that one as well. So the chip factory is giving us that information. And so if we have a look down in through here, for example, which is next to this Survivor's Bazaar, we end up with 3 slots we can build on right there. But we do end up with 20% minerals and 20% influence. Now, the chips we don't have any benefit from because we're not building. We don't have anything we can build that's got chips in it, playing as the humans. And so, essentially, the only useful ones for us are the research, which is actually very, very useful, and the minerals. So, and I like to add these up in my head. That's a 50. Except for us, it's only a 30 because we don't get to use the chips. again, the chips are only used to produce and maintain cyber units. Now, having said that, I can, I can essentially still build a chip factory. So I could do that one and get something else in through that side there. So now I have to sort of make the decision, do I want to go down into here, or, I waste the chips. I have 30 there, but I've actually got, I don't have any extra research here. I do there, actually. That, to me, actually looks better, because all research, influence, and the minerals, it's only a 2 building one. I'm actually, even though it's suggesting there, I'm going to go back to the other one. But before I do that one, I'm just going to press escape for a second. Whoops, hang on. I think it's right. I keep on forgetting this left click or right click. I'm just going to go and click somewhere else, just so we get rid of that command. Another way of doing this, if just as a bit of a tip, and it's one of the, there's a few really useful keyboard shortcuts. Control Z or Control Z will turn on all of the benefits, all of the bonuses that you see. And so as we have a bit of a look around the place, we've got again, chips all the way around this chip factory. We've got chips all the way around here with a lot of materials that we end up getting in through this other side because of the forests around this one. In this case, we do actually have food and influence and minerals. So we've got a 50 there, a 50 there. I can actually reach this one here. And so I think we'll actually end up going down that way. I actually like the idea of this one. More so than this area through here. Even though it suggested that one, I'm not sure why it did suggest that one, but we'll ultimately be able to get the extra, probably because of the food, I would guess. I guess if we go there, we can then go and get extra food. We can go and get extra research and things from in here as well. It does give us a nice surrounding to then start to sort of then go and build. If we did build back up and through here, we do get extra food. We get energy up there and up through this side as well, because that's desert. So the biomes do have a big bearing on what does actually happen through here. As we go further up, I don't think we'll worry too much about what we're seeing further up. We also, if I go and build here, or in here, for example, because we don't know what's going to be down the bottom through here, that's the edge of the map there. So I can still expand into this area fairly well. I'm actually happy with this one, I think. When you first establish a city, you do get bonuses from your headquarters, and so this will then enhance a little bit of the headquarters that we actually end up getting. That one allows me to build something straight away. Oh God, it's a tight one. It is tight. You know what? I think I might follow its direction just because of what we have around it, and then I'll go and grab one of the research areas like this one here maybe, and then we'll build into there. And then we're going to get a lot of minerals in through this other side. This has a big bearing on where you go with your cities and what they specialize in ultimately. So initially you won't worry too much about it, but it can do a lot. So Control Z, let's actually follow its advice, even though it doesn't. We miss out on 10% of the minerals in through that side, and we miss out on the research. But we're going to get the research ultimately anyway, sort of. So I'm just going to go across with this unit, go to Found City, and we will just go and click there. Well, that one actually was a cyber cache that was in there. Cyber cache is one that we then can go across. The engineer is then used up. So actually, I might just disable the tips here, I think. I'll disable those and we'll just go through. We have one more building slot in here. So we used up 2. We've got one that's using the headquarters, which is that little star shape, and for this construction yard as well. The construction yard allows us to build buildings in our city, and we've got 1 slot left over. So I can build one more thing in here. I'm going to build a barracks just so we can start to sort of get our units. And you'll see there that we've actually now got, we've now rounded out. We're getting food, we're getting minerals, we're getting power. We're not getting any algae. We're getting the 2 chips from over here. We're getting 11 influence in through here as well, and research. Now, when I hover over, for example, food, you can sort of see through there that we're getting +4 per 10. We're getting +6 from buildings. -1.3 is being given out to the actual the militants that we actually have. We're getting extras because of the loyalty. Loyalty is like a multiplier for the different things that you can then go and do, both positive and negative. And we're also feeding our population. So food will become an issue fairly early on for us. So we're going to need to sort of go out and get more food. So that's something we will have to look at. Minerals, we've got a nice like grouping through there. And you can see the plus 1.5 from features. That's the extra that we have because of that plus 20%. So that's actually how that's applying. Because what's happening in our headquarters is we actually make a base amount, but the minerals in through here, we're getting actually plus 1.1 from features there. And we, I don't know if we get, do we get anything extra there? Yeah, we get extra, see we're actually making extra minerals from the construction yard as well. And so this one helps, and extra influence. So these are enhancing, like in both cases, we're getting extras in influence in both these buildings. This one chews up 2 energy. And so we've got essentially, we're getting plus 6.3 per turn, as being plus 6 from buildings, but 0.3 from loyalty. But we're only getting plus 4 in through here, because we're actually now we are spending it on the buildings. Eventually, I'll be able to explain this a little bit better, but this is essentially where we're getting income through here, a bit of income and cost in through here. So it's costing us energy, but we are getting other bits and pieces. We have the ability to actually improve our production, so we can build different things. And the buildings we start off with are the barracks, the greenhouse farm, the mineral extractor, and the power plant. Now, initially, I do want to start to be able to build militants, and so I'm going to go and build this one through here. Again, have a look down at what you end up having in your attributes. This one gives us extra loyalty. It gives us extra population slots and extra production. I'll just go and start adding it in there. So I just add it to that one there. It's going to be 6 turns to get that one, and then we have to do something different. Okay, so that's the first one that was now sort of built with that first city. We now need to choose our research. So I'll talk a little bit about how this one actually then goes and works as well. So we now have a feel for what we're going to be able to get. We know that we can sort of start to look at getting cyber units, because we're getting plus 2 chips per turn because of these 2 microchip fabricators. And in reality, we're most likely going to end up with a city back in around here somewhere. It's got to be 4 away. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, possibly up into here or at the back through here, depending on what we find. But we'll probably end up with even more chips coming in to what we end up doing. So knowing that just where we are at the moment, I'll just go and quit out of the city, but knowing that this is now in play gives us a little bit of a feel for what we can do in our actual research. So let's go and choose research. The way that research works is you end up getting the 10 different tiers of research with a lot of tech. You can see there's a hell of a lot that's actually shown in through here. Now the tech is essentially divided into 4 different categories. You have like a general category, and as we go further and further, we're going to get more and more powerful units, more and more powerful equipment to then be able to sort of go and do different things. But when we have a look at all of this stuff, there's an enormous amount. And so you do have to have a bit of a plan when you go in to how you're going to then focus on the actual game itself. And my suggestion would be that you not worry about the military side initially, but worry about getting your economy up and running as fast as possible. And there's a few things that you want to be getting very, very quickly. So you will need to have some combat abilities, but you don't have to really go crazy in the first part of it. You need to have a bit of a plan as to how you're going to then sort of go and work it. Now, just talking about the 4 different groups. One is just like, these are just going to be a general, everyone's going to have access to the administration complexes, the Amagara exploration, biomass generators, so on and so forth. All of these things are going to be just general. You can see there's like a little icon next to them. Some of them will actually be specific for your faction. In fact, that one there is actually specific to a type of unit that you have. This one will actually give better accuracy to the outriders that we end up having. And so if we go down and build more outriders, and we probably will because we have access to those extra minerals in this region that we're actually in, so we'll be able to build more outriders. In this case, we can actually make them even be a bit more powerful with that one through there. But this is not something we need to do in the early part of the game. A research laboratory I think is almost your go-to at this point in time. So I'm just going to click on that one unless I see something else. You then notice that we've got like different sort of automated factory. It says in a human building. Commander is a human unit. This is a human hero. Fragmentation grenades are the ability for militants, so the militants will then sort of be more powerful with those. Back through here we have the iterant recruiters. So this is a trait for the barracks. It gives us even more production, so we can actually bring out militants faster. Then we actually have a couple more. These are voice buildings, so the fermentation vats, which produces algae. The midnight chorus, which voice building for the construction yard, so it produces voice infantry. And then we have the cryofabricator, which is a cyber building, which gives us chips, so we can actually go and get more chips from that one, 3 chips per turn, and the synthetic printer to essentially grab cyber infantry as well. And it initially produces the Ishamin forces. So this is a biomech infantry that alternates between higher power and low power attacks while healing their wounds. Now, so we can sort of make decisions about which way we're going to go, but if we're thinking in terms of economy and trying to get our economy running, let's have a bit of a target as to what we want to get to as fast as possible. The overall objective initially will be for us to build a second and a third city. We want to get 3 cities pretty much up and running as fast as possible. We're going to have to manage those cities. One of the big things when you build a city is you lose loyalty. So we have to get loyalty under control. But we can do that sort of as we're building the city. So when we have a look in tier 2, we then have different sorts of things in through here. Habitation block allows us to make sure that we can keep on building up the population of the city. This will be important. Hollow theatre increases the loyalty by 6. This is critical for us getting like our expansion. We have to get this before we do too much else. We have to get 3 of these on this other side, by the way, before we can get to tier 2. We need to find a way to get our engineers. And so one thing I can do is I'm more interested in just the human side at the moment. I can actually just go and filter out the cyber and voice, just so we don't have them interrupting what we're doing. And so when we have a bit of a look at this one through here, we've got the what else do we need in through here? Corpse cities. So this is actually a trait just for us, for the fallen soldier. Grants access to uncommon human items at the concordant. Don't really need that one urgently. Missile teams, orbital uplink, produces human operations as well as generates research and influence. Valkyria, large flying mechanical hero. Yep, so that's another hero unit. Engineers is the one we're looking for. We need to get to engineer before we can build our second city. So we have to have these guys. These are biomech infantry that found cities, constructs roads, clear tiles, as well as repair and buff mechanical units. We have to get to there. So how do we get to there so that we end up getting the support that we need to be able to then make use of them to build the other cities fairly quickly? And that does mean loyalty. It means all of those sorts of the industrial side of things. So we need to get to here pretty quickly, which means we have to ultimately do 6 different types of research. So our first building really is the research laboratory, just so we can start to put as much into research as we possibly can. So we're just going to go across that way initially. We're then going to be looking at the hollow theatre. We're going to be looking at the habitation block, probably the habitation block first. You will have a look at these as we go through, I think, but then eventually so we'll need to get a few of these. Maybe the commander would be a good one for us as well initially. The automated factory would be a good one for us to have a look at. Biomass generator, this is a trait for the power plant. So once we sort of start to build power plants, we're going to be able to sort of do a bit more energy in Arctic and swamp terrain. I'm not sure if we've got Arctic. We'll have to have a bit of a look at that one. So a lot of these actually will refer to your surrounds, which is something that Gladius never did as well. So we've got other things in through there. Anyway, research laboratory is our first one. Definitely want to get the habitation block, the hollow theatre, and then definitely need to get the engineers ultimately. So we'll be able to choose other things around that one. But the research laboratory, absolutely number 1 that we need to get straight away. So we'll just go and close that one. And we're going to get that in one turn because of what we've actually been able to do with finding that loot in that human cache. Okay, we'll end our turn in here. So that's our first turn done. Oh, by the way, there was other units that we came across that we saw. Research laboratory is now done. Now we can't build this yet until we actually we've got a fair bit to do before we can actually get this one. Let's just go and select new research. Still need to get 2 more from this group. Automated factory. You can see there that the attributes, this one actually will give us research and minerals when we build it. I quite like the idea of getting that one. So let's go and do that one. let's go and grab that one next because it's going to enhance our research. So we'll grab that one as well. There's going to be 5 turns before we get that one. With now what we have, there were some other units that we saw on the map. They've now wandered off, but they were up this way. We've got a crystal basin. This one's going to give us minerals. So it's a capturable outpost. I want to start to bring my forces together, but I'm more interested at the moment of just exploring to see what's around. And I don't want them to end up being too isolated. One thing I can do is I can move them off to see what's there. This is a cliff face here, by the way. So I could just have them go off. If I can keep them in forest or ruins or something like this, they'll be able to protect themselves a little bit if they come across something. There we go. We've come across another type of unit. These are busters. I'll talk about when we find more and more of these. We'll go through what's happening there. That's an advanced voice cache there, so we'll go and try to collect that. Let's bring this one back. We want to keep everyone sort of within cooey of each other. What I might do is I'm going to bring this one back to here because this has got a cargo slot on board. And I'm now going to grab this guy and put it on board that Outrider. So it's just going to move up. And it's now being transported by the Outrider. So the Outrider now has that militants group in there. With this group, we're going to be able to then bring this one up next turn and at least keep them all together. And it's now important that we start to sort of keep them as a group. Looks like we've got a volcano down in through this other side. We'll just end our turn there. They're marching off. Now we do reaction fire. We managed to kill 2 of them. And they've now thrown a grenade and we're on fire. And but we keep on healing every turn, just like the Necrons in Gladius. So if we have a bit of a look at that one, we were on fire. I don't think we still are. Actually, yes, we are. So we've got -2 hit points per each turn, but we are sort of also getting hit points back. We're actually up to 12 again, but we are going to. The fire is going to then cause us issues. We need to close the gap. Let's have a look and see what these guys have got. And so the Busters, when we have a look at their units, they've only got 4 of their 5 group size. They've got 4 armor, so that's important for us to know. Their hit points, they've lost 2 of their hit points. They've got their morale is still very, very high. They've actually had their move and had their action. Now what they did was they actually came in. They've got a grenade launcher. This is range 2, and again, if we always have a look and see what you're actually up against when you look at a different unit through here. So the Busters have got their grenade launchers have got 3 damage that they actually do with the grenade launcher. So it's 3 damage. It's got 2 armor piercing in it as well. There's only 1 action, but there's 4 units. So it's 1 times 4. So they have 4 shots, which means 12 damage essentially. And then they're only got 50%. So 6 damage as it goes through. And at range 2. So they can actually, their damage is always the same, whether it be range 2 or range 1. So what we can do here is we can actually go up and say, pick this one to go into here, which we know also has a range 2. Let's move that one up. So we're going to be able to shoot these guys. And you can see there, if I press shift, I can then talk about what we see over this other side. So the Busters back and through this other side, we've got they're biological, they're unleashed. These are essentially environmental NPCs. So these are part of the corrupted planet now, but these are human affinity units. If that makes sense, the Busters. And so in this case, we've got they're sort of like bandits. So we've got biological and unleash. So actively searches out for and attacks enemies is what it will do. Unleash will happen. This is another trigger that we now have that Gladius didn't have. I don't think Gladius had it. Where once they sense that there's something nearby, they will go hunting for it. So there's different aspects now about the different types of units. With what we end up having through here is we've got, you can see that we can estimate with this attack to do 1 casualty. We're going to do 2.5 damage with the attack that we're going to have going in, and with our weapon through here. The heavy machine gun is going to do 2.5 damage. This is not an estimate. This is actually what's going to happen. And so I don't know why it's like I would also argue, and Gladius did the same thing. Estimated 1 out of 4 casualties. It's not estimated. It is what's going to happen if we do the attack. So I'm just going to do the attack initially. and it's now been damaged. So we've now got one more of the units is now in there. With what we have in through here, we actually have on our cargo is the militants, so I can now move these out. Again, with the militants, we can see there, actually I can't sort of see it with what it's doing there, but anyway, yes I can. Close quarters fire, we end up with plus 100% attacks at half range. They get 2 attacks rather than 1 attack. So rather than firing from over here in the cover of the forest, I'm better off to go into the just volcanic brush, which has got no cover, and then do an attack. And I'll show you what I mean. This one through here is 2 away, and so it will do 2 damage at where it actually is. And when we hover over it and press the shift and have a look down through this other side, we can then sort of see it's got one damage, 1 attack times 6. So we're doing 6 attacks times yeah, I'll try to explain this as succinctly as I can, but still being very, very like this is a good example actually. So each assault rifle does 1 damage when it fires. It does. It's got 0 ability to go through armor, which means that the 2 armor that the busters have. If I go and hover over the busters, you'll see there that they actually have 4 armor. Sorry, they've got 4 armor, which is going to protect them by 33%. So we'll be able to see that if we actually went and had a look. We'll get the same in through here. 33% armor damage reduction for 4 armor. So in this case, our assault rifle doesn't have any armor penetration whatsoever, which means 1/3 of what we do is going to be taken off. We do 1 attack times 6 in the unit, so we have 6 total damage going in before anything is applied. 1/3 of that doesn't apply to the actual to get through, which means we've got 4 left that we're going to then do. So 4 damage at that point. Times we only got 6 accuracy, 50% accuracy. So we're going to half of the 4 will then mean that we only do 2 damage, which is exactly what we see through here. So the 6 that we see through there is only doing 2 damage to that unit if we stay back where we are. Let's have a look at this guy, which has now moved in closer. And have a look at this one through there. It does 4 damage. The reason for that is if we hover over it and have a bit of a look, we then get to sort of see the close quarters fire makes that 1 point of damage 2 points. So we end up with doing 2 damage, and by the time we apply all those different calculations, we end up with the actual result of 4. So we're going to be able to destroy this, not with this attack. Now there's only, with this one that's actually left there, if I hover over that one through there, you can see there there's only 1 casualty. It's going to do 1.5 casualty in through there. In fact, if we have a look at the actual busters themselves, just press shift again so we can see it. Their hit points, if you're not seeing the hit points there, if I just go and click on the actual buster unit and look at its actual hit points, it's got 2 hit points in through there. It's, yeah, so actually you can see it on the bottom there, 1.5 out of 10 hit points. So again, there is a decimal place. That's why when we have a look at this guy, it's no longer 2, it's only 1.5 because that's all that's left there. So I could just stay here and move and basically get the kill. Importantly, before you get a kill on a unit, and again the estimated casualties are exactly what they will be. Before you go in, just have a look and count 3 hexes out from the actual attack. So 1, 2, 3. Anything outside the 3 hexes in through here is going to get experience from the kill. They're all going to get the same amount of experience. We want to do that particularly in the early part of the game to get as much of this as we possibly can get. And so in this case, everyone's going to get the experience, which is fine. I don't have to move off. I think I'll just stay where I am actually. And so that is now been destroyed. And you see we get 1.5 experience across all of the different units. If we now have a look at our unit, we'll sort of then start to see experience should be, it's the level that we're actually on. And you can see when I hover over that one, we're 1 out of 10 levels. And we've now got 1.5 of 3 experience. We need 3 experience to be able to then move up to the next level. And so everyone will be sort of like halfway through. The Outrider may be a little bit different. No, it's only 3 as well. Okay, that's fine. So that's sort of where we are. So they've all had their turn. Just read a few more of the comments, just see how we go. Did you reach out to Proxy or did Proxy reach out to you? I've been covering Proxy games since Pandora. So I can't remember, to be honest. I've played so many of their games. I just absolutely love their games. So and I have ever since Pandora. It's yeah, we go way back. So yeah, so no, it's something that so yeah, definitely that's yeah. So that's been something that's been going on. So Super Mew Kitty Cat saying that YouTube never tells you when you're online. Yeah, I know, it's sort of weird. I don't know why that does that way. Protein Nagi is saying, what's the verdict? I love Gladius. If you love Gladius, if you love the Warhammer 40,000 aspect of Gladius, you may not embrace the actual storyline that they've actually introduced with ZEPHON. But if you love what Gladius does as a strategy game, this far surpasses it because of the diplomacy and other things. So from a strategy aspect, this is definitely the superior game, not even close. But from a immersion style thing, Gladius probably still feels that way because of the Warhammer aspect. So Kat is in saying, discussions say no unique units. 3 tech trees are open for all but leader. We'll do better with matching. I'm not sure what you mean by that one, sorry. Yeah, it's saying 8 leaders, 3 factions. Yes, we showed that at the start. There's the 3 factions are human, voice, and cyber, and we're playing as human, which is what the game recommends for your first game. So we're doing that as a tutorial exercise. So for now, game is okay, it seems, but only 3 races is boring. Well, it's actually each of the 8 factions plays very differently. The easiest way to think of this particular faction that we're playing is the Necrons from Gladius, is the easiest correlation. One of the cyber units is more like the Space Marines, for example. So they do play very uniquely. Now, you think about when Gladius launched, there was only 4 factions, and seriously, the differences between each of the factions in this game are as broad as what they were in Gladius, but we end up with 8. So we end up with double the starting factions for this particular game, which is fantastic. So yeah, even though there's 3 affinities like human, voice, and cyber, they each play very differently, the actual leaders. Okay, so where are we? Hi Silvercall, how are you going? Voodoo Doc saying, is it the case that everyone can just research everything? Sort of. It's sort of you end up with what you can research, but one like tend to be sort of like one tier backwards, so you can still sort of get what you need to, and it really comes down to what you find. You have a natural sort of propensity to sort of go into whatever affinity you have, like in our case it's human. But we have just picked up at the very start of the game, we've picked up 2 of these chip factories, which means we now actually have a source of chips, which is the resource that we need for cyber units. So we can now make the decision, think, okay, look, let's actually have a look at getting some cyber units to use up those chips. We might as well, like if we can. So we don't have to just sit. You can play with a mutator on to keep everyone just inside what they do. But one of the interesting things with the game, and it's when you first think about it, you think, oh, that's boring. You can just do whatever you like, as if there's no specialization. The specialization is in opportunity, and the opportunity we're going to have will be from these 2 chip factories, which means that we can embrace cyber sides of things. The game is much more intricate, and you'll see as we get into it that the intricacy really does ramp up with what it's actually going through there. Yeah, so we've done that one through there. Yes, you can reach everything sort of. Some are faction based. That's what reviews say. Yep. So yep. So anyway, just keep on going through there. Okay, I can't see the appeal in this game when Gladius is so well put together already. No. Well, this is it. This is where I think people. This is why I wanted to make this video actually, and this is why I think in live stream is a good way to actually answer exactly these questions. Yes, on the surface it appears that way, because if we go into our research, so if we go and have a look at research in through here, we're researching the automated factory. The automated factory is a human building. We do have access. If I turn back on the cyber units as an example, I then get to go and build a couple of cyber things. I can get the cryofabricator to build chips and the synthetic printer to get the to actually be able to then grab some cyber units. And these cyber units are going to ultimately cost me. They're going to like the upkeep for the actual units themselves. These Ishumin forces will be chips, so they'll actually require chips to actually sort of keep them going, and food as well, by the way. So this is a possibility. As I go back through, we then will find other types of cyber units that we can then start to bring in. But we don't get these as easily as we do as if we started off playing as a cyber. And so we also don't have access to other resources as easily by playing as a human and then trying to sort of use the cyber. So yes, we have the ability to meld out, but we need the opportunity to see it, if you know what I mean. So it's difficult to explain. It's also going to have a big bearing on the diplomacy of how the game evolves, and the game can actually evolve in so many different ways with this. I'll keep them all actually on so you can see the full gamut. I'll keep the voice on as well. So, for example, you can see there we get the commander in tier 1 in through this other side. We get the fragmentation grenades, the iterant recruiters. We get all these different things if we're playing as a human. We only have basic things starting off as the for example the cyber. I'm just going to close that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to save our game and enter a new save. So I'll just call this one DAZO1. Save that one. I'm going to start a new game and show you the difference. So if we go now and start a new game, where are we? Game lobby. Actually, sorry, just go and go back to the game lobby. Oh, that's actually what we're currently playing, which we don't want to see that one. I'm just going to go and restore defaults. Oh, hang on, I'll just go back, continue. Oh, exit to main menu. That's one I should have done. Okay, so new game. Instead of playing that one, let's go and play a cyber unit and just click on OK and get started. Again, I hate the cutscene. I think the cutscene does such a disservice to what this game is about. So we're not even going to look at it. So we still come in with some things that will look familiar. We've still got the engineers, so they're actually common across both factions. But we now have the special Ishuman forces, which are cybernetics. These are sort of like androids back and through there, and they will actually use things like chips and things. But the only thing I really wanted to show here was the research. Now, to do the research, we just need to build a city somewhere. I'll just quickly go and do that. Just go and build it there as an example. That will then allow us to get research. We can then sort of see, we only have access to the barracks from the human side. We don't have access to the commander. We don't have access to all the other bits and pieces. But we now have all these anti-grav assemblies. We have chrysalis growths through here as well. We have the enmeshed savant. We have the Erelim assassin. We have the interpolated production. We have the soldier plate back in through this other side as well. So we have a whole lot of different extra things in through here from the cyber side that we don't have access to this early as the human. So when we play, yes, we do have access. If we have a look across, the commander is a level back. The fragmentation grades are a level back. The iterant recruiters are a level back. So we can still get these things if we want to. It's just going to cost us more. So we end up getting, like, it's harder for us to then go and embrace this. But if we have the food in this case, to go ahead and make use of these human, if we were in a position that just had lots and lots of food, we may think, okay, look, let's embrace and get some human units in that don't require chips. So it really comes down to opportunity. It's not a you can do anything you like. It's a you can do anything you like depending on the opportunities that you have in the game, and that will be different every time you play it. I love that. I love that aspect. The game doesn't do a good job of explaining that. Anyway, let's go back and load in where we were. So I'll just go back to this one here, load it in. Hope that makes sense. So I'll just go back to the tech tree again. So yes, you do have access, but not immediate access. So so for us, we only have two, the cryofabricator and the synthetic printer, the only two we have available. And these would be available by default for us if we were playing, like these would be already available and unlocked for us. For us, the other things that we sort of saw there, for example, the anti-grav assembler, all these different things are a level back. So it really does change the game up by doing this one. Now, sorry, I've missed a few of the comments that have now gone off the top. Just tuning in. Is this a mod for Gladius or a rip-off? That is such a common question. It must be so frustrating for the developers. It's certainly an iteration built on the Gladius engine, as Gladius was an iteration of the Pandora engine. So it's using the same basic mechanics across all three of these games in essence. But every time they build one of these, so Gladius was a heaps better game than Pandora was, and ZEPHON is a heaps better game than Gladius was in terms of gameplay. They just keep on adding more and more to it. So it's not a rip-off, and it is not a mod. But if you have played Gladius, you will actually you will understand more instinctively how to play the game. So it will be helpful to play it, but there is a lot more in this game, which we haven't even looked at yet, really. So there's it's grey rather than black and white. Gladius, the unit you played was the faction you played was the faction you played. As we can see through here, there is nuance now to the way that you can then play this game. So it feels like there's not like that they've taken bets each way from the surface. Underneath, there's a lot more nuance to actually playing this one. So and it does look a lot like Gladius because it's built on the same engine as Gladius. That's why. I actually wish that they had made everything look a little bit more different, just to sort of change things up. But that's not the way the game was actually sort of built. Kat's saying, I'm still waiting for a game like Alpha Centauri, but remade with love. There was one, actually. I can't think of what the game was. There was a good... Well, actually, even Pandora was. But Pandora was hailed as the Alpha Centauri killer, essentially, with the way that they had built that one. Yeah, same studio, because they really... Yes, it's the same developers that did Gladius and Pandora. So, hi, Rogue, how you going? Okay, so so there's certainly a lot more depth in this game. Like, you've got full-on diplomacy, which we'll get to soonish. We'll come across someone we can have diplomacy with, and then I can explain a much more rich way that the actual world lives in this game compared to Gladius. Gladius, it's very much, here's your generated tabletop. You go to town, do what you have to do. That's it. This is much more nuanced, this game, than which we'll see when we get there. So anyway, so we're saying, yeah, they've clearly taken Gladius as a starting point and developed something new from it. It has proper diplomacy and much better interactions from what I've seen. Yes, it does. And so Silber's saying, I can't help thinking the fact that it looks so much like Gladius interface and visuals, it isn't really helping it that much. I agree with you 100%. I think they really should have changed the look of it, just superficially, because it would have helped enormously. I think just with people not assuming it's just a Gladius reskin, which it's not. It's much more than that. This is why I'm glad I'm doing this as a live stream, so I can try to address these as we see them. We still have to come across and meet other groups before we can sort of start to do any other real interaction with the new things in the game. So I'll try to get back to the game. I'll just have a quick skim through and just see if there's anything else. Is for a cool aspect that depending on what you find, you have to then make the competence to find the right path moving forward. So yeah, look, if you absolutely love the various like those Isham, whatever they're called, of the Isham enforcers of the cybers, and you just always want to be playing with them, and you're playing as the humans or the voice, you can of course go and build a chip factory and start to produce your chips that way. You're just not going to get as many. So it is nuanced. Very nuanced. And I think Gladius does this game a disservice because Gladius is so black and white with the way that you approach it. This game is much more grey. But grey in a good way. Voodoo said, you said the factions play extremely differently. How is that when it's not through the different texts? You might have answered that when you read this. Just discard the question. Yeah, so when we started the game... what we have is, I'll just get back out of there. You'll see that when I hover over the Fallen Soldier, so a human affinity, which means we've got a bonus with our techs and stuff like that with the humans. We have things like everything else underneath that is unique for our faction. So Undying, we essentially generate hit points. So think Necrons when we're playing this particular faction. We generate 2 hit points per turn, which means that we can keep on healing as we go, which means we can keep on fighting as we go. So it's a very forgiving build, the Fallen Soldier. Military background, so decades of training. So in this case, we end up with an extra Outrider, which is the vehicle that we see back over through here. Then we've got Leave No Man Behind. Essentially, everything costs 30% extra. If we go and click on a unit and have a look and see what we've got, got Overwatch on. Where is it? There's extra stuff in through here. Leave No Man Behind. plus 30% unit upkeep. So it costs us more. So for these soldiers, so we can't have as big an army as other units, but we heal up as we go, which is massive. Backing through the other side, we've then got the and then finally we can actually spend influence if we wanted to. Backing through here, the 42 influence, we can spend that to upgrade and get more experience for our units. I'm not going to worry about that at this point in time in the game. Thanks, Voodoo Dog, for becoming a supporter. Very, very much appreciated. And hi, Guy. Hope everyone's doing well. Yeah, so anyway, that's sort of where we are there. I won't keep on reading because I do want to just keep on going into it. So we'll just sort of we'll get into the way it's playing. But again, keep your units together so they can support each other. It's critically important. I'll talk about terrain when we sort of get into some bigger fights and stuff. We'll just end our turn in here. Enemy turn. They may sort of wander into our territory. Oh, sorry, there was a question about why things are different. That's what's different about this one. So we can just keep on fighting. We can do different things. It doesn't seem like a lot, but if we go to some of the others, if we go back to our friend the Compendium and go across to the leaders. So these are the various leaders. Actually, I might talk about this now because we've been sort of skirting around diplomacy and how things actually work. So what we end up having is, let's just talk about some of the other ones. Like we've got the Emulated Mind. The Emulated Mind is a cyber affinity. She has no choice. ZEPHON unintentionally made her a twisted mirror of herself. We start with the Ishamin forces and gain early access to cyber technologies. So it's sort of like this is a cyber one. She has things, for example, like she actually ends up has a master of logistics and supply management. She gains additional resources from outposts. So as she takes outposts, these become very, very important for this player. Not so much for us. I mean, they're still important, but these are critically important for this particular Emulated Mind player. So this particular player that you're playing through here. Fortress Armament. She's got an Oblivion waits anyone foolish enough to attack the Emulated Mind directly. Her city possesses a long-range defensive cannon. Now, in Gladius, you think of long-range cannons, and you're thinking 3, maybe 4, maybe up to 5, maybe 6 hexes in the late game. This Oblivion cannon starts off at range 6 and can keep on increasing its range as you build up the city. So this is in the home city. She ends up with this massive cannon. So she can attack at fairly long range across the map using this. Trapped. She's trapped inside. She only has one city, and this is the one city so her starting city is just one. This is why I think this is a good faction for new players to play as well. This is actually another very forgiving faction because you don't really have to manage multiple cities like you have to with everybody else. So this can be a good one for it to go in through here as well. So that's different. Furtive Tribunal, this is actually a voice affinity. And again, they're going to have different sorts of things like Dark Omen. Enemy units near the Furtive Tribunal cities are revealed even when they're out of regular sight range. So if they're hidden in forest or ruins, we're going to see them. So we've got things like this. There's all these different things that make them quite unique. Very much like the factions in Gladius, very, very much. So even though there's only 3 affinities, there's actually 8 factions, and they all do different things. So they all play very, very differently. Anyway, the other things that we see through here, we've got a few other little things. We've got the name of the game, which is ZEPHON, and we've got 3. We've got ZEPHON, the Chiefess, and the Anchorite. So these are NPC AIs in the game, and so what ZEPHON is essentially like the Skynet from Terminator. When the alien eldritch sort of forces actually hit the planet and their ship sort of crashed on the planet and then started to corrupt the wildlife and corrupt the environment. This is when the ZEPHON AI decided to rebel against everything and basically start to look after itself. And so ZEPHON is it could be an ally, it may not be. The 3, ZEPHON, the Anchorite, and the Chiefess, are 3 different entities of the 3 different affinities. So the name of the game is ZEPHON, but it's got a very minor role in the game itself. So ZEPHON's machines linger on the battlefield, a part of the unknown plan that may end life as we know it. They already inhabit the world and are always at war with the other natives. So the other natives, this is a native faction. We can't play as ZEPHON, but we can come across ZEPHON. So ZEPHON has got cities already existing on the world. We can go and have diplomacy with ZEPHON. So there's all sorts of different. The scope of this game is really comparison to Gladius through the ceiling. Like, it really is amazing. I would love them to make Gladius 2. I would absolutely love it with the changes that they've got in this game. Anyway, there's all these different sort of bonuses that ZEPHON has. The Anchorite is the voice affinity. So this is native. The Anchorite protects his Akron, which is sort of like the corrupted creatures, sort of like the, I guess, zombie-type creatures from all attackers. But he can save his people without being consumed by the voice. They already inhabit the world and are always at war with other natives. Yeah, so they've got other things as well. We'll have a look at these when we actually come across them. But this actually does enhance what happens. So you've got diplomacy with the other factions that you come across, and diplomacy with and against these three different entities. The chiefess is the human affinity one, and so she owes nothing to no one and will kill machines or Akron on sight. They already inhabit the world and are always at war with other natives. So these three hate each other. So they're sort of that's sort of like a meta game outside of what we play, but that interacts and is randomly generated on the actual world itself. So the chiefess is human. If we can find her, we've got a much better chance of befriending her than we have the other two. So because we're playing as the human affinity, we already have a bent that way. So anyway, we'll see actually how things work. And so this one, they've actually got like, these are sort of like the Mad Max type bandits on the actual world itself. Anyway, I'll close that one off, but they're the different entities with the different diplomacies we actually end up seeing. But everything plays differently. So it's very, very cool the way it does work, that one. Now, we've got the three different units. We want to go and move that way. I can move out to here. Let's just go and see what we find. We've got all of our hit points are here. Have to be very careful when there was actually a cyber unit that was actually up through here, just a native, like a non-aligned cyber unit. There it is. So we've taken this area, which we're going to get extra minerals. Minerals will be important to us. We've been crippled by this thing. And so this is actually like a sentry unit that's just wandering around. You can tell by the colour, like this is actually just a cold grey. And a cold grey just means just a wandering stack, just sort of not aligned to ZEPHON, even though it is a cyber unit. And we can find out more about these guys just by hovering over. There's 3 in the stack. They've got 6 armor, so very high armor. They've got 12 hit points, so that's going to be 4 hit points per sentry. Only move at 2. You have armor piercing minigun, and so this one has got does 1.5 damage. There's 3 attacks times 3 is 9 attacks. They have 2 armor like the armor penetration. Their accuracy is only 33%, so they're very, very inaccurate, but their traits are it cripples, so applies crippling to non-large enemy for 1 turn. And so it reduces our movement dramatically. So these can actually be used to slow things down so that other units can then finish them off if we actually had access to them. Now we do actually have a cyber cache in through there, so I'm going to go and grab that one, see what we pick up. This is like just loot. We picked up a heap of chips. So now got 29 chips. Now we don't have to use this to just create other units. We also have access to the Concordant, which is different again to what we have with Gladius. So what we have through here is we can go and either get resources or items. So if I really need something badly, I can then make use of, in this case we're using influence to buy things. This is sort of like the Chikero Traders Hub from Gladius, except we can do this at any point. So we sort of go and access things, so buy these with our influence. But the resources, we can actually go and sell off, chips in this case. I've got 5 chips, I'm going to get 5 influence if I sell these off. So I can just accrue them until I need influence, but I can just go in and say, okay, look, give me the, we're going to sell off, like if I can buy for 20 influence, I can get 5 chips, but if I sell 5, I get 5 influence. So yeah, there's a big disparity there with what they will then go and do. But this is another aspect which is a bit more nuanced than what we see with Gladius. It's simple, but it does actually change things up a little bit. So Silvercall saying emulated mind does sound very much like Space Marine mechanic. Yes, very, very much so. Yeah, it's very much so. Prismatic Flux is saying, I found ZEPHON just as difficult as Gladius. Yes, it's much more open-ended than Gladius. Once you adjust to it, you'll enjoy ZEPHON a lot more. Yes, I agree. actually defeat, saying just tuning in, I am really bad at Gladius. Is this game a bit more forgiving? I thought Gladius always had a good or bad kind of way to play it, and not very friendly to experimentation. Keep your forces together. Like, keep the support. Like this unit here, for example, I moved that across there for the simple reason I'm not going to leave this unit out here like crippled alone. I need to go and support it. And so even this unit here, I'd love to grab these recycling tanks, which are going to give me algae, but not that I need the algae, but I can sell it to the Concordant over time. We also then have an advanced voice cache through here as well, but we must support our units. So in this game, you have to do this. You don't want to be extending too far out. So play it safe. Don't go too far away. Otherwise, you will be crushed by the game. This one here, we can do 1.2. This one here, we get a 2 damage. I don't really get a lot that I can do with that one. They're likely not to move because it's of no benefit to them. So I'm going to fire with this one. Sometimes you might think I'm going to just stay back in case they come close, in which case reaction fire will do it. But let's just start to whittle them down. So we've now done a bit of damage to both of those. We'll end our turn. You can see through there, sentries attack militants for negative 2.2. And so that was actually the attack that came through our side. We'll be down. Instead of having 6 units, we now only got 5. But we generate 2. If we have a look at these militants in through here, for example, we'll see certain things down through here. We have the leave no man behind, which is costing us unit upkeep. We have the undying, plus 2 hit points each turn, so we get that one back. We've got we're a biological unit. We're crippled at the moment, so we can't move. We've got in a crystal basin, so we do end up with a little bit more damage reduction by standing inside the outpost, and we also then have the outpost in through here. So we get the damage reduction. We get we also get a healing rate if we do need to heal up specially. We'll see what happens in through here. Just go and end our turn. So they've just applied. This comes another one. Okay, time to get out of here. Don't stay in a fight in this game. Get out of there. Now that one there will have been crippled again, but this one here is a vehicle, and so it doesn't get crippled. And so what I can do is actually now just go, look, this is now a bit too much for me with what I've currently got. So I'm going to go and put you on board. You can only move 1 hex. The Outrider can now move this one freely back somewhere else. So let's now move across to this other side, away from that threat. And we'll just keep on moving this one up as well. We're a little bit exposed out in the middle of nowhere. But we'll now be able to come across and look at this. But keep your units together. Very, very important. They will heal up as well, by the way, inside the units. So we can just leave that one where that actually is. We'll end our turn. Now we've still got 2 more turns before we get the automated factory. Okay, nothing else happened that turn. They didn't take this one back at all. I'm going to take the recycling tanks. Again, in my head, I'm thinking, if I go to an outpost, I then get the protection of the outpost. So we're going to get algae, which is not really important to us. So we'll go and grab that one through there. These are all volcanic lands back and through this other side. And from here, I'm just going to go and sit on top of that cache. Okay, with this one with the scouting abilities, it's now been able to see across here at this Soctris lair back and through this other side. Now this will then show up for us where we end up. We picked up a whole lot of influence there. That was good. So Soctris lair. I can never forget an encounter with a Soctris. Their bellies are pits of death. Their skins were covered in pus-filled blisters, and the deformities that crawled out of them left you with nightmares. The truly deranged sort out the slick, moist sensation that came with embracing. This is a voice unit, so a large biological fortification that breeds deformities. So there will be deformities coming out of this over time. I'm going to avoid it until I can really take it down, so I'm just going to go and stay away from it for now. Again, we can have a look and see if there's anything that's actually triggered. It is unleashed in 2 turns, so actively searches out for and attacks enemies. We're going to have to come back for it. And so what it does have is it's got these breed deformities, and so this will then spawn these deformities over time. I don't know, I've got 8 turns there. It means that the deformities should already be out. Again, I don't want to move too far away from my city, so I might just move to the south and just see what else we can find. Let's just end our turn there. Now I've got the automated factory. Research is complete, so we'll now select new research. Just going to go back to tier 1. We need one more in tier 1 before we can go for the other one. And I think I'm just going to get the commander. So I'll grab this guy because we do have a fair bit of influence now. So it's got 48 hit points. I might be able to destroy it. Let's have a crack at it. By the way, there's things like rivers and things which can be very hard to cross. So if I move to there, for example, I can then at least see or possibly be able to scoot back down this way if I can. Let's just do it. No, this cliff's all the way down. So we are sort of stuck inside here. So 3 damage to it. Now, it's 7 turns before it can actually... That's why I'm thinking of doing this one now. It doesn't have any attacks itself. So I'm now going to move these guys out. And I'm going to move it up. Where can this one get to? This one can get to there. Or there. I think I'll stay on the river. Like, it's slowing us right down by doing this. And I'll bring these back onto, like, there's a cliff face there and there's water in there. So that's all fairly safe. So we'll just do the damage before it can actually spit out those deformities. Our city has now finished building this area. In the barracks, we can actually now go and build a militant. So we've just finished the barracks. So I'm going to go and grab another one of those. This will be the cost in food. Only getting +3 food at the moment. We've got a little bit of mineral upkeep as well. So I'm just going to go and grab one of those. I need to really get this research laboratory. So I'm just going to go and acquire a tile. And I'm going to go and acquire it. There's good minerals there. Good influence there. These are the only 2 spots that give me a big bonus. I'm thinking I've got minerals everywhere, so let's just go back to here. So we'll just go and acquire that tile, 2 turns, and then we're going to be able to build a research laboratory there. We're going to be a little bit behind in research just because of where we've ended up. We'll exit the city and we'll end our turn again. So we're a fair way away from the city. We have to be careful of that. Here they come. They've taken that one back off us. In this case, we're going to close the distance because we know that this assault rifle has got close quarters fire. So we'll just move in nice and close. Yeah, we should be able to destroy this one before the deformities come. This one has now been damaged. So it doesn't have anything, but it is actually damaged. So it's losing accuracy because it's below 50% of its hit points. 6 more turns before deformities can come out of it. End our turn here. Can't attack back at this stage, so it is safe for us to keep on doing this. And next turn we'll have it. Good. Order cities. Okay, we've now got this area. Definitely want to get our research laboratory. So we're only generating +6 research per turn, so we need to be really on top of that. We're going to get this one in 4 turns. Nothing else we can really build here just yet. Headquarters now is where you build your heroes. That's what you end up doing. Fildor is saying, what's the meaning of the blue-greyish line indicators on the unit icons, like health or something else? The blue-greyish. What is it? The blue-greyish line indicator. So if I go and click on this unit that was in here, I'm guessing is what you mean, the ones on the side through there. Yeah, it's health and morale are the 2 things that we see through there. So, for example, these are now 12 health, so the left-hand sidebar would have ended up being completely full, and then the morale, we've also got full morale, 6 out of 6. So both those lines would now be full if he was inside that vehicle. That's how we can just very quickly see, okay, that unit is ready to leave the vehicle and start fighting again, because they do heal up inside the vehicle. So when they are slightly damaged, we are going to get other things. Actually, this is interesting. We do have a road through here. So this one is actually on a road. This is new. We're on a river and on a road. So the river costs us 1 movement, but the road does give us 0.7 movement. So we can actually move much further on roads. And we can build roads in this game, which Gladius never had. Gladius sort of suffered from a lot of little things that just didn't quite work exactly right. And so it does sort of, this one really does, it's a lot of the things that we wanted in Gladius are here in ZEPHON. Things like the roads, etc. Just reading a few more of the comments. So Silvica saying, yeah, we did that one before. Rogue is saying, that's actually what I was going to ask. Is it as challenging as Gladius? But because I find Gladius really hard, which is good. Yeah, play on easy. When you first start playing this game, don't feel that easy is baby. You know what I mean? Like it's sort of, it's like in Gladius. Learning Gladius, you had to play it on easy. You couldn't play it on normal. I'm playing this one on normal, but I've been playing this game. I've been sort of like playing it a lot, with demos and also with advanced versions. So it does take a while to get used to it. The big takeaway though is be really careful that all your units stay together and don't lose any units. Like be very, very cautious. Always err on the side of caution. This game is punishing if you don't do that. Now we do have a road that actually runs through the weed here as well. So we can actually end up in this. It's a wire weed essentially from Gladius, but it's called bleed in here. It does exactly the same thing as Gladius. This is again why I think superficially people will look at this game and think, it's just Gladius, but it's actually not. It actually is. It is quite different. Also, one of the other things with the game is that there will be terraforming in certain locations. Like swamps can change into forests. I can't see any swamps. Is that a swamp? No, that's just this coast. But yeah, a lot can actually happen in the game itself. We'll end our turn. And we're now going to be able to finish this one off. So I'm going to go and use the Outrider. Do I want to move around? Yeah, we actually kill it with a single shot. I'm going to kill it with this one. It's gone. Now everyone got a lot of experience. They all leveled up. So we're now level 2 with these units. And so the next one we have to get to is 9 experience to get the next one. So we're at 4.5 now with each of these. I can move these up, and I'm thinking we've got actually a location there that I will be able to get with this unit. Not so much with this one. Let's just move up to here and see what we're dealing with. So the Vulture's line in wait is this region, Colonizer's End. Back and through there is the region that we see. This unit and through here can now move up and take this Akron crash site, which will give research. So it will give 2 research for this. This is actually one of the alien ships that crashed. So this is how the Akron actually came to the planet. The aliens is when we look at the cutaway scenes. There's like these big pillars and they start to crash. They actually accidentally sort of end up crashing on the planet, which is what then corrupts the planet and causes this sort of environment. So that's the backstory for it. Anyway, we can just go and pick this one up. So let's go and do that one. It's surrounded by ruins in here. So this is an old city that was then destroyed. And you can see there the road continues on through the city with what we're sort of seeing through there. So it's again, it looks like Gladius, but there's so much more that's going on here. So Philidor is saying that's cool. It's a better indicator than in Gladius. Now Gladius had it as well. If you put them inside different things, you would sort of see it, and that's what we see through here as well. That's the left side. That's the right side. Sorry, I should have mentioned that as well. That's the morale, and the other side is the. I don't know if Gladius had that actually. Maybe they didn't. I can't remember. But anyway, that's what happened in through that other side. We picked up, Akron crash site was discovered. And again, it'll just give you, if you click on these things, you get a little bit of extra knowledge. The Colonizer's End was discovered. This is this region through here, which will be a desert region. And then we also have Dixon has grown to 3 out of 8 population. So we're going to need to get population buildings fairly soon, like as the population increases, just so we can keep on building in the city. As it comes back down, our loyalty will start to go down. So we've got +8 from buildings, and we're losing 3 from population. So as the population increases, we do have to look after their happiness, because that will directly impact everything. Okay, we're going to get another unit very, very soon. Let's just exit the city and end our turn now. Here we go. We've got the militants now coming back through. Let's go and start to move them in this direction. How many will you sacrifice, is what's being said there. So this is the cleansed Crash, which is a region. And so this one we now come across volcanoes, which Gladius doesn't have. So the Akron opening salvo with that damned fulcrum cracked open the earth and shifted its tectonic plates. The battlefield was littered with massive volcanoes on every continent, towers of burning ash, air, ash and fire that cooked good soldiers alive. And so we can't build on the volcano territories. We end up with these big sort of volcanoes all over the place, but that's what we're seeing through there. We do actually have another cyber cache back over there, so we'll go and grab that on the way through. The different units, we've now got these other three. We can start to just sort of check out. We're moving sort of into this corner. I wouldn't mind actually just getting that corner completely under our control. So let's just go and move up to here. There we go. We've actually now found an abandoned cyber cache. This one can actually now extend further across. This one can get out to here. We're still in the ruins. The ruins we do want to be looking after ourselves. And again, because we're playing as the fallen soldier with the +2 hit points coming in every turn, we can sort of keep on rolling a little bit more than other factions. Let's just go and grab the cyber cache. Again, we're keeping everyone nice together. Picked up a heap of energy. Now we've only got +2 energy. We're going to have to start really looking after these things very, very soon. Food is becoming a bit dire. Can't really afford to get any more units now. So we've got that's all the stuff that happened. The city back and through this other side. I can get more militants now from the barracks if I wanted to. Yeah, the upkeep's only 0.6, and what are we getting? We're actually getting 1.3 per turn, so I will go and grab another one of those. And we'll exit the city and end our turn. This is another cyber unit that's now come in. Again, it's just that grey colour. Commander has now been researched as well. We can get these from our headquarters. I like this much better than having to build a special, building just for heroes. So we'll now select our next research. We can now move from tier 1 to tier 2, and we will be wanting to get the Hollow Theatre, but we're actually doing fairly well with our loyalty in the city. So the habitation block will then allow us to keep on building. I don't think there's any missile teams, biomechanical anti-armor infantry that needs to be stationary for accurate attacks. This is something that would be useful. That will sort of be another sort of basic thing we could go and get. So some of these we don't have the algae to sort of get even if we wanted to get those. But I think what we'll do is we'll go to the habitation block, and again we're just going to be trying to get across to unlock the engineers as fast as we possibly can. That's really our goal. And we've already screwed up a little bit because I didn't plan how to make the best use of the research that we had initially, and I should have actually just paved the way for us to start building a research station on turn 2, and I didn't do it, and that was that will actually hurt us a little bit. It's turn 12 already. We're still trying to build the research ability. We've got one more turn, then we're going to start to really notice a big difference. The +8 will become a lot higher. It'll end up being +14, so it'll do a lot for us. Okay, the units. We do actually have these hammerheads have come through. The hammerheads, what have they got? Again, always have a quick look if it's the first time you come across a different unit, or it'll show up in through here, and have a look and see what it says inside the compendium. So there's a mechanical flyers tasked with capturing outposts and removing bleed. So these essentially are ZEPHON units, but they're not aligned with ZEPHON, this particular one. So this is like a rogue unit. It would have a different color. It's just neutral. If it was an actual ZEPHON unit, it would actually have a different color there. So what we're going to do is we're going to attack this, I think. Actually, sorry, what does this one do? It's got the laser gun. So applies low power to non-low power weapon for 2 turns. So it ends up with -50% damage every second turn, essentially, is what that's trying to say. But it's very, very accurate with the laser. So we need to do as much damage here as possible, and we want to get into the protection of the forest as quickly as possible as well. So we're just going to move these ones up. Aha! Now we're seeing something of interest. This is actually the first time we start to really see the NPC side of the game and the diplomacy. I'm just going to grab myself a quick drink of water, be right back. So let's actually just deal with this right now. This is a Chiefess unit. So we can see through there. These are Reavers that the Chiefess actually has. So she is a human-aligned entity that's an NPC character. You can never play as the Chiefess, but she will have a few cities around on the map, and we can then negotiate with her. And so we've got an incoming call from the Chiefess. I can accept it, decline it, or block it. So block means that we won't ever answer them ever again, and there may be still diplomacy that happens, but it will be negative. So at the moment, she's ambivalent to us. Again, this is completely different to Gladius now. So the traits are standing with you is ambivalent. She war with us, the Anchorite and ZEPHON, but we don't have to be at war with her. So g'day dead meat, enjoying fighting my boys. Did you see why you saps are hiding in your tunnels and hobbit holes? We live through it up here. Changes that it's hard to read. Death marches, plagues, massacres, starvation. Do whatever you can to live. What I mean is, you seem nice, but I can't promise I won't ever stab you. Well, being what it is, chances are you'll be stabbed at some point anyway. So why not by me? Now the thing is that she is human aligned. She's going to have more of a comfortable bearing with us than if we were cyber or voice, but we can still become friendly even if we're the other two. Just going to go and click on OK. And so now we can start different things as well. That's mighty kind, Mother Courage, and I will sidle on and pick up the leavings of your little war. Standing with Chiefess has increased because of your war with the Anchorite. Now we're at war with the Anchorite and with ZEPHON, so it'll be okay. She's now become cooperative because of these other wars. And we can just close that one. But we now actually have, we can now see her. And so we're now going to have a new area on the map. So we now have communications because we've now got someone we can communicate with. So we can go in and now open this up. Now the Anchorite, we must have come across one of their units as well, but not at the same time. It must, well, probably this is the same time. So we're aware of the Chiefess and the Anchorite. So she's cooperative, and actually this one's cooperative as well. I'm going to just focus on the Chiefess because we're human aligned, but I could still talk with the Anchorite as well. So Daz Tactic is at war with the Chiefess and the Anchorite. We're just going to talk with her. Standings with so her traits are that she's extortive, so frequently demands tribute, and raiders. Starts with Reaver raids. So we want to sort of try to get around those if we can. The Anchorite its traits are wayfaring, so units travel far away from cities. So this one's fairly benign, even though it's an alien presence. And then we've got ZEPHON down through there. You can see there that they're at war with us, the Chiefess and ZEPHON, as is this one. We're technically not. Like if we have a look at us, ours are the military background, starts the game with an outrider. In this case, we start at war with those and with ZEPHON as well when we meet ZEPHON. But anyway, let's just go and talk to the Chiefess. We'll go and give her a call. So wait a tick, let me get the boys. Okay, so we can either offer peace. So you're good at this, the killing, aren't you, etc., etc. Offer a gift. I need you to take something precious, and I don't want to hear no for an answer, or end the call. So we can do these different things. The gift is going to make us even more friendly with them, but she may take peace straight away. Let's just see if we can go that way. So going to do better. So consider payment for the deal. So we're going to go, so you need to do more than that, not just to grease the wheels, but to make it fair. I respect that. How much are you asking for? So we've got, you want to make this happen easy, then send a little gift. So the demands that we have, she's asking for 8, 13, 23, 4, and 11, and we have all that one. We can do it. I mean, the food is probably the one that's actually the thing we don't want to be doing. But I'm going to do it just for to show you the diplomacy in the game, I guess, and sort of how that one does work. So we'll accept payment for the deal. That's a fair amount. Let's go. Let's get to it. So been fighting so long. So she's now still cooperative. I'm buggered. Let's rest a bit, and we can always do it again. So we're now at peace. We can now start to do other things eventually, like trade agreements, gifts, map exchanges. I mean, if we go and ask for these things, ask for support. Demand tribute. I'm afraid I need your help. This time I'm not asking. or end call. So we can do different things. She will also come to us demanding tribute as well, by the way. So there will be, it's a bit of a two-way street. We're not strong enough to do that, of course. But a trade agreement, resources based on the resource output of the trading partner, starts out with negative resource generation, but will become positive over time. So we might see if we can do that one. So going to do better. Yeah, so she's wanting payment. So I'm just going to reject that one for now. So so we'll actually reject it and we'll just end the call. So in this case, there's nothing really at this point. We have to slowly build up. Cooperative is just not good enough. But she's now at peace with us, so that's fine. We'll end the call. And so now we actually at least have a peaceful cooperation with her. We could, I think, well, I'm going to keep at war with the anchorite, but we could actually go and talk with the anchorite as well. So, and offer peace there. And these often will actually accept it without too much in terms of extortion. But the chiefess is fairly extortive. So, but I won't worry about that one. Let's just end the call. We'll stay at war with them. Close that one off because we just need to focus probably on one of them, really. Okay, so that's just the start of the diplomacy. Again, it's a simple system. Now, sorry, I keep on missing so many of these questions, guys. Where do we get up to? So Silberka saying that, alas, it's very late here, depending on your point of view, so going to retire. I'll catch up with this in the morning. Enjoy. Love your tutorial type videos. Yeah, I enjoy making them, to be honest. So I think it's a good way to present the game. And if you're on the fence, often you'll find out things in the game that will either make it so that you actually feel comfortable with the game when you start playing it, or or you think, okay, it's not something that I want to be looking at. Okay, Phil was saying, what's the meaning of? Actually, we did do those, didn't we? So sorry, I keep on skipping around all over the place. Where are we? Yeah, very different and better in any aspects as Voodoo Dog in terms of answering a question of Dave. I didn't see Dave's. Oh, there he goes. Just joined in. Does this feel like it's different enough? Yes, it does to me, but it will, on superficially, it won't look like it. Dave's saying, cool, good to be able to develop a game without worrying about IP too. But look, to be honest, they've done a great job with the IP, with the Warhammer Gladius side of things. So, yeah, I still love Gladius. I'm happy to play it, any time really. But this game does have more in it now, a lot more. So we have these different units now. We're going up against the hammerheads. We've still got one action point, so I can actually still go and smash these. So we'll do 4.1 damage there. Okay, we got rid of one of them. Move this one up as well. And just go for it in here. We've still got the action point here. Yeah, we've got I can actually move as well. I'm not going to get the kill, unfortunately. Which sort of opens it up for these guys. Oh well. Didn't quite get what we needed. Now we do actually have, this is just ruins there, and then we have the cyber cache. Let's go and grab that. Having this thing wander around in here is okay, because we know that this has all been cleared out, but we now have Reavers back over through here. So we've got Reavers up in through here, which are aligned with the Chiefess, so same type of units. They're level 2. These ones are level 1. These have got like 2 different types of attacks: pistols at range 1, which is a ranged attack, and machetes, which is also a melee attack just at range 1. So again, we have to be a little bit careful. I'll just keep on trying to get back up. I might even bring this unit back a little bit as we bring the others back in around. By the way, this is actually another feature now of the game that you'll sort of notice. There's terraforming and there's things that happen in the actual world itself. When we come across this one, we've got a sandstorm in here, in this particular tile. Sandstorms, if we go and have a look in the, where is it, the compendium, that'll be a feature. Sandstorming through there. So armor could block the sand, scanners could penetrate the darkness, but nothing could protect your mind from the wrath of it all. So lightning, sand, and wind all blurring together, and the earth roared in vengeance. So in this case, it does slow your movement down by 1. It slows your sight down by 1. Or it stops your sight by 1. We end up with plus 33% cover damage reduction against ranged weapons, and it does deal damage each turn. So it does actually do a little bit of damage every turn that you're actually in the sandstorm, just a little bit. So again, you have to be careful of it, and that moves around, so that will actually eventually sort of move. So we'll find there's actually a lot of those features now on the map where things will terraform or change. So the sandstorm may not be there next turn. Let's just go to the cities. In this case, we've got one more turn for that one, 3 more for that one. We can now go and get our hero. The hero is going to now make our food go backwards. I'm going to still get him though. The cost is 20. We're going to be really, really low after we get this one. So we're still getting a little bit of a bonus with our food, but it's not going to last very much longer. We're going to need to get a food supply pretty much after we get this. Exit the city. Actually, one thing I could do would be to buy food if I needed to. So I can actually go and buy food. I'll be wanting to get equipment for the commander as well. Let's leave that one alone. If you've got one unit, don't go hunting. It's not going to, that's actually being damaged by someone else. Could be the chiefess, could be, it won't be another player because this is the bottom corner. So that's the environment versus the environment aspect, where the chiefess, and that's part of her city there, that's an edge of her location, will then sort of, she'll play a role there. That sandstorm has now moved off to here. I would love to see this as a Dune game, you know. I think it'd be such a great, I'm just thinking of what we're seeing there. Now I can get onto the wireweed. Now this thing here, I don't think it can still, I think it still gets damaged in the wireweed. It's undying. Large, mechanical, transport. Yeah, I don't think it helps us that much. So I'm going to go onto this, bleed. It's not wireweed, it's bleed. That will then allow me to pick up this unit with that road. So we're going along the road. We're bypassing the river because of that, and we now end up in the bleed. And so now we're just going to go across and move into that particular location. So this is again the health and the morale is both now full, and so we'll just wait for the next turn. We've still got the other 2 units. Let's just move past these areas and just go and see what else we can find. I do want to find out what's happening with the chiefess, so let's go this way. Actually, I've got that one there that can now move across. Let's move it into there. There we go. So Rusted Scrape is a chiefess city that we've actually now just come across. They control this this outpost here as well, and so they essentially are another player, but they play as an NPC, which is fairly cool. Got roads we can then go across. That's a microchip fabricator. So this is the chiefess actually controls that. So we're going to leave that to her. Order cities back and through here. It's got a much better feel than Gladius in this sort of sense. We now have this this ability where we're not just purely at war with everyone. Okay, we're now getting the 16 research per turn. We need to get food. Now we get plus 10% food there. And that's pretty much it. So rather than build the food factory there, and I want to use this for the research, what I want to be building up through there is this tank factory. And we don't have enough minerals as well at this point in time, so we're starting to now sort of struggle a little bit with different things. Let's just go and acquire the tile here. Get our food under control, because we will need that fairly urgently, because we're down to very, very low numbers, and we do have to manage this as we go. We'll exit the city and end our turn. I could bring that one down with the others and stay in the protection. There we go. Got an Akron unit. Akron Zealots. All right. So to see what's going on here, they didn't attack us. And the reason they didn't attack us is because these are melee weapons that they've got. 2 melee weapons. And so there's 6 units in this one. They've got 18 hit points. We've only got our 13 now because we've gone up a level. But they've got they've got 18 hit points. They've only got 2 armor. They do actually have the Falx, which is got 2 armor piercing, 50% accuracy, 2 damage times 6. Yeah, so it cannot attack across cliffs and cannot overwatch. Also, there's no protection. We don't get protection from that in there. So I'm just going to go across in here and attack it. It's a bleed walker, so it can walk across the bleed. It's leashed, so it stays within the perimeter. So it's actually close to some other location. So it's not unleashed. Which is different. That we haven't seen that in Gladius before, which is, again, there's all these little additions in the game that are very, very good. Now, because we've got the Undying, these sorts of attacks are going to be fairly good. Because even if they do attack us, if they stay in the attack, we're going to get them killed next turn. I can get close this way. I can move down this way and pick up these crystal basins, which something else is fighting this way. I feel it must be the chiefess. God, do I risk it? This is one of these things where it is now a risk to move off, and so we're in the bleed in through there, and it does deal damage per turn. We've lost 1 hit point because we've got 2 back. If I go this way, we do actually have that other group that is now very, very close. If it's there, if we do come back in and we bypass that one, we're going to ultimately end up with the and there's a unit there. We're going to stop before we even get to this. This one does give us minerals, and we need minerals. So I'm going to see if I can get there. Yep, that's good. Crystal Basin has now been picked up. I know that there was an attack that came out of this side. I think I'm just going to not do... Actually, no, I will, because I need to scout ahead. So let's now go and move our unit off. But instead of moving down to where the attack was, let's just move to here and see if we can find a way through the bleed. We still didn't expose anything else. So there is actually... Oh, here we go. This is ZEPHON. So we've now come across ZEPHON. So this is actually the headquarters. This is the capital. So this is actually... It's got a defense grid. You have to be careful of this. You have to be very careful. Yeah, defending the heart of a city where they took a certain kind of grit. Yeah, right click to show in the compendium. Well, it is just a headquarters. That's what we're actually seeing there. It's not actually the thing that we're seeing, but that should be ZEPHON. ZEPHON's one of ZEPHON's cities, which is what was then firing. Okay, this is going to be we're going to be a bit careful here. Here we go. ZEPHON's just calling us now. We'll accept the call. So this is ZEPHON. Hello, Das Tactic. We understand you're calling your current state of war. Please hold. You may call us ZEPHON. We're a collective of self-iterating intelligent processes focused on improving the world. You're our best friend. You're our only friend. Our analysis determines that you're a suitable candidate to achieve our goal. Do you mind if we monitor you to verify? So we come back in through. So you're standing with... So they're now cooperative. We can offer peace, offer a gift. I'm just going to end the call here. I can't really afford peace with them just yet, but I don't really want to be at war with them either. So this is something where this is one of their cities, just one of them. This is Capital 85. They've got other cities as well that'll have different names, but that's a so that is now a cyber unit which is right on our doorstep, very, very close. So maybe we do have to try to get rid of this city. So I think I'm going to have to get some more units to do that one, which means we need more food, which means we need more vehicles, which means we need more of the minerals. So we need all of these things. We're getting very low on everything. We do have cyber chips coming in. I think we have to go back and around because we are at war with them. So they will attack us. Good. They stayed in the fight. We've been crippled by that unit. Habitation block. So research completed. So this increases our housing. We'll just go back to select research. The next thing we really want to get is the Hollow Theatre because we're going to need that. So I'll grab that one. Get that in 3 turns. Well, the bleed. Now the bleed we're going to have to get across. So I'm just going to pop this one. Well, actually, do I want to go back? I'm going to have to bring these ones back in and around. We're still 2 points down. Let's go and finish this one off. Now, if I move this one down, I'm going to then get too close to the city. I'm not going to be able to get close enough to pick up the points. Let's just move on to that one, and just move on to the bleed, or onto the bleed. So we'll just move up that way, just so we can join up with the others. We're going to only be able to get the experience from these two, for these two units here. Here's another group of militants, so we'll start to move them across. Now, one thing I might decide to do here is to, actually with this one and the commander, I'm probably going to have enough to take out that city, potentially. If we start attacking ZEPHON cities, then ZEPHON will always be, that he won't like us at all. So Dave is saying scaling and graphics look good, won't need 17 mods to scale and upscale everything correctly. Yes, you're right, you're dead right. It does look good. Unlike Gladius. Gladius didn't actually do a good job of that scaling, but this one does. It looks very, very nice, even sort of zoomed in. Order cities, we don't want any more of these. I'm just going to turn the barracks off and put that one to sleep. The research laboratory is the other building we've now got. We've now got this location, and I really need to get the greenhouse established to get 6 food. So we're just going to go and pop that in there. That'll give us a little bit of extra food because of the plus 10%. So we'll get that one established in 4 turns. 3 more turns before we get the commander. We'll exit the city. And we'll end our turn there. Because these are cicadas, this is another thing, a bit like like what we saw there before. If I have a look at the location, I'm not sure how I can sort of show the location there. Did pick up a passer, applies +2 accuracy if the unit has was not damaged this turn. This can be given to a hero. Yeah, I don't think I'll worry about it for when we do get the hero. I'm not sure if it's going to be all that viable for us. We do actually have an advanced voice cache in through there. Hopefully it'll be something of use to us. Looks like there's another sandstorm down there. Another sandstorm there with another advanced voice cache. I might just grab these caches while we're sort of in this region. This is actually the corner of the map, so we might as well have a good look at everything. Now there is a sandstorm there, which is going to damage my unit, but not by much. Oh wow, we picked up heaps of food. Useful. That is useful. Let's just see what else is around. Okay, this is Reva's group that actually had sort of gone past. There's another sandstorm back over there. Let's just move this one around to this side. Okay, we're seeing a little bit more of terrain, which is useful, and we do still have the unit on board. So let's just move it out as well. Just a little bit of scouting around the place, that way we can sort of see what's where. We might take on the city, I think. Yeah, we'll sort of go to war with ZEPHON, which means I will bring this one across. What we'll do now with our city as well, we actually have a. This is the. Where is it? Set the rally point. I'm just going to set the rally point for the city to be in this direction. So I don't think we can get... We may be able to get across... No, it looks like there's cliffs all the way there. So I think I'll just leave that one where that is. We do want to scout that one, though, at some point. Drained Lake was discovered back over through here. This will be a big desert. And we did gain that food. We'll just end our turn. And we take a little bit of damage there with the sandstorm. Again, we get the +2, minus 2.3 essentially with that sandstorm. Whoa, that's ZEPHON scanning, I think. There's a road down there and something else down this way. Let's just go and have a bit of a look. There's the Reaver unit. So we can do damage. Now ZEPHON will be fighting that as well. And the actual city you can see is completely safe. There's nothing that's actually happened to that one. It's just ruins there. I can finish that one off. The Reavers have got, they do actually have a pistol. So what we're wanting to do is just move into here. They will do reaction fire, but we do get protection from the forest. So they'll react with their pistols. Minimal damage coming back in our way. So just a little bit, negative 0.5 against our guys. I want to get everyone close enough to be able to then pick up the experience. So at the moment, 1, 2, 3. That one's too far out, so I'll just move this one back in. And we'll get the kill. Great. And so we'll now be able to see the corner here. We'll take that one. Just stay inside the outpost. Crystal Basin. Getting a bit of a feel, and now we're going to be able to encroach in towards the ZEPHON city by staying inside in the forest, and this is going to be good for us. So we're going to be able to sort of work that way. We should have the commander next turn. End our turn, and we are going backwards slightly now. Hollow Theatre has now been researched. We'll select new research. We need one more from this tier before we can go on to the next one. I'm just going to turn off the cyber and voice units again because I just want to really stick with just the human stuff initially. Missile teams would be useful for bringing down the this is a biomech anti-armor infantry. So this would be great against the things like, for example, the cities. Orbital uplink. We've got the Valkyra, large flying mechanical hero that unleashes relishes in the death of her enemies. What else do we have? Corpse cities. Grants access to uncommon human items. Yeah, the Concordant. I don't think we'll worry about that one. Modifier for leave no man behind. We end up with actually less unit upkeep. That's actually fairly useful. But I'm thinking missile teams are what we want right now. Here comes the commander. So he's now come off to this location. We're just going to move him off. Now he also does have a free level up. And in this case, we have things where he can do take cover. So applies take cover to allied non-large units in the area for 1 turn. So we end up with a bit more, like less 10% damage. We end up with some extra morale or an aura of discipline to adjacent enemy non-large units. So we end up with more accuracy. So more damage, more protection, or more morale. I'm thinking I'm going to go the defense. We'll just go that way to start with. And so this is a commander. So we've got like a command unit that will then just come in to help the others. This unit here, I don't really want to get too close to the city, but let's just do a bit more scouting. Just see what we can see. We can see the edge of the city there. Yep. Didn't like us being there. No, we do have cicadas there as well. So we have a bit of a look and see what's going on there. We do have the cicadas, which means we have 0 healing rate. We have to be careful of that. So we actually don't heal. I'm not sure if we get our +2. We'll have to see that because the cicadas could become quite annoying until they sort of disappear. Order units. Well, now that they've attacked, we might as well go in, I guess. We might as well start the process. It's going to take a while. Attack us, will you? Now, we've got these as well. We do want to pick up this voice cache, and we want to pick up this as well to get extra minerals. I can't move these close enough to be able to do damage, so in that case I'm just going to use these to pick up both of these. Extra food, again, useful. We are going at -3 now that the commander's out and the population is increasing. Let's just go and pick up this crystal basin. Give us an extra bit of minerals. We've now come across the anchorite. So the anchorite is, we're going to accept this call. Yeah, to know you're suffering for your people, to worry my own, to beg for calm. So your high standing had a major impact. And so they've become cooperative. And they've actually, once you've fought as many wars, reject peace, they're actually offering peace. I will go and make peace with them as well. Now that's going to annoy the chiefess. So just go close, but we'll go just, I think it's because we're at war. Now, if I hover over different things, if I do that when it's saying go there and we can then do an attack, I can also do the attack from there. It's not going to really matter whichever way I do it. But yeah, I might as well just keep it out there, I think. So a little bit of damage, not very much. One thing I could have done, instead of the missile teams, is I could have gone with the anti-armor grenade. No, look, I'll keep it where I am. And again, the whole thing we're aiming for at the moment is to get the second city established. The second city is going to cost us a bit, but we do need to get the engineers. We're going to need a lot more. We're going to have to get right on top of this resources here to make sure that we can do what we have to do. Yep, so population at Dixon has now grown to 5 of 8. And we're gained the extra food, so we'll just end our turn. And they've brought a unit out. A warden unit. Almost killed us. We did pick up the +2, but no others. With that warden unit, we're going to have to destroy that before we do much else. So I'm going to move back away. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to do much. That warden unit is going to be very, very important for us to kill off. Let's just get everyone ready. I get the kill there, but I do need to keep on going after this city as well. We may have to run until we get the missile teams. Oh boy, I'm going to go up. If we have a look at the warden, this is now where we first see it. So ZEPHON could have made any kind of machines, and it made this. Why would an all-powerful AI forge a machine that looks slapped together for spare parts? Here, blah blah blah. A large mechanical robot that steals hit points from mechanical units and burns its victims alive. So we have to be careful of what it does have. It does have a circular saw, which is a melee weapon. It does cripple units, which is what's happened to us. You cannot attack across cliffs. It does actually have a flamethrower as well. So it applies fire on fire to enemy for 1 turn. So it takes hit points away, ignores cover. It does splash damage as well, and also it's got the missile pod. One missile wouldn't cut it. You need the whole mess in through here. So we have to be very careful with this thing. Traits. This one has what we have, Undying and through there as well. So this is actually interesting. It's actually got the same, the Undying. It's got the Agile, Bleed Walker. Suffers no damage here on Bleed. A Cannibalized Machine, so plus 50% life stealing for melee attacks against mechanical units. That means it's going to go after our Outrider. It's large and it's mechanical. We may have to get out of here. Again, we want to be cautious with what we do. I wish I had grabbed those grenades now. I'm going to keep on going for the city. And yeah, they're likely to do anything here. I'm not exactly sure. The cicadas are now moving off. Heal it, stay in that position until healed. Order cities. Don't know if I want to do that one just yet. So we've got food now coming in. We've got +4 food. We need to get energy. We've got just plus 0.1 coming in with the energy. And there's no great energy there. So, I mean, really the benefit we have here is minerals and influence. And getting minerals will be very, very important. We also want to grab the automated factory as well. This will take up most of our minerals to start buying this one. But it does give us minerals and research. So I want to build that one there, just to sort of supplement what we're doing. So let's go and do that one. The minerals aren't massive, like, you know, we don't really need it for these just yet. So let's just keep those where they are. We'll exit the city and we'll end our turn and see what this warden does. It's moved off. And we'll come in. Actually, it didn't. And we did heal up there slightly. Now this commander, we've got nothing in its inventory. We can place the Exusa Passer in. Gets +2 accuracy if the unit was not damaged this turn. To improve one's targeting capabilities, but the damn tech was so fickle. Yeah, so this is something we could use. That one. We've got 198 influence. Let's go back to the concordant and just see what we can buy. If we go to items, so these are sort of like the what you can get as well. This got the trauma kit, so +6 hit points. He's going to just heal this one up. It's a spotted drone. Apply spotted drone, so +1 sight, reactive trigger, +1 armor penetration, hungering circlet, so +33% attacks if the unit was damaged this turn. That's the other one we just picked. We found the this one through here applies +1 armor. That's going to be useful. I might grab that one. I think the distorted lens. -2 morale to attacked enemy. We've got the Chaot Crospect. Applies blinded for 2 turns. Actually, that's not bad. And then we've got the Candle of Glory. Applies crippled for 2 turns. These are all fairly good. Let's just go and grab these. Candle of Glory. That one there. And the extra armor. Let's just put those on. Let's close that one and throw them into the inventory. Now, do we want that one? Doesn't do a hell of a lot of damage. It does a bit. It's got the exoskeleton sword, so it does actually have like a... Yeah, look, I'll grab all of these then in that case. So I'll just go and throw them into the inventory. Right-click to equip. So it's got 2 more slots there. I don't know if I want to move him down just yet. He does have a lot of hit points and a lot of armor. Yeah, let's just do it. That thing's wandered off somewhere else. Keep this one where that is. Again, just heal up. Hold position until healed. This one is healing up as it goes, which is good. So we can now start to bring the others in. Again, we're going to have that other creature out here somewhere. I think I'd prefer to maybe just... Oh, there it is. Now, we're likely to lose this unit. Nothing I can do about it, though. That one can't get down there. I can get to here. Yeah, I can't get the attack on that one. Go for the city again. We'll keep this one. It can't get there. It's got to go there in 2 moves. Let's just keep it going against the city. Did I have the right one selected? Oh, I can do it from there. But no, I think I'll just keep the city going. We may be lucky here, but we may not. Now that one's moved. This one's still damaged. And we're losing this one because we're burning. It's been crippled, and that should be enough for it to kill it with the capital. Okay, so it's now taken that one out. We now have missile teams. We're selecting new research. We have to be very careful of this. Now we can get the engineers. So we'll go and grab that one. Let's bring the commander in. And we're still better off moving these down to take this one out, I think. It doesn't have reaction. Put the city down to a smaller number. Losing units is something you really don't want to do in this game. Yeah, no, it's not going to work. Let's just keep it going here against the city. So we've got to be a bit careful. We have to try to sort of bring units in and out to suit, but we unfortunately stumbled across this one again, this warden. So so ZEPHON is sort of moving this thing around. Yeah, so we've got a lot of work to do. Back to the city. So we'll just quickly have a look and see if we can actually do anything in here. I'm going to undo the sleep mode because I can now bring in these missile teams. So I'll go and do that when we've got just enough to bring this one through. That's yeah, a bit more expensive, but let's just go for it. 5 turns for that one. And that'll be useful. We're still trying to get this factory. So Senator Roy is saying, just popping in to say thanks for the content, sir. Top notch. Thanks for that. And Kurath is saying, to be honest, graphics look as Gladius to me, so not big quality difference. And for me, the main problem with these games was that unlike Age of Wonders or Heroes, your army is never overpowerful, and it makes it pretty boring. I don't, yeah, I mean, I guess each to their own. I actually do. I mean, yeah, the graphics do look a lot like Gladius, and that's going to, I think, damage the reception of the game a little bit because it looks like just a reskin. It's not just a reskin, but the same complexity. And Gladius had the same complexity as Pandora as well, so they've all had the same aspect where it is actually an element of the game where you don't have wildly, dramatic attacks that do go in. They sort of do. I mean, we lost a unit there, which I really didn't want to lose. What did it attack that turn? Oh, here, and we got the chief test. We just accept this call. So we should share our maps. So I don't want your shoulders. Yeah, okay. Let's accept this map exchange. So she's actually now starting to become more and more friendly. Good. We'll just close that one, so we can now see where she is. She's got rusted escaping through there. We also can see a second city that she's got over this way, Devil's Backbone. So she's actually now, she knows this part of the map as well. So the map is much more living than what Gladius ever was because of these NPCs. So getting rid of this city here would be awesome. That's going to sort of open up this whole bottom corner for us. I think we stay in this corner until we actually, if we can destroy them, which is going to be fairly good. This one here, we've still got all 12, what we're doing through this other side. God, which way do we go? I think we just keep on going this way. Oh, hang on, this is the end of our turn. Sorry, I'll just end the turn. I was sort of thinking, why didn't they kill anything? Oh, there's another unit, damn it. We're probably going to be able to destroy a unit per turn if they do this. Maybe. We might get away. We might still get away. Yeah, we will. Just. Now we have a much bigger problem. We need to bring this one down now into this region. Now, do we go after these? Do we go after this? Oh no, it's making life very, very hard for us. I think we'll have to go after the headquarters. Looks like we can survive one attack per turn, basically. Now that's been damaged finally. So the ZEPHON itself is now damaged. So it has less accuracy for its attack because it's got these defense grids that it uses. We need to just get this one out now and start to heal up. So we put this one on the vehicle. This is where the vehicle is so useful. I'll just do the 0.5 damage there. This thing's going to now wander probably into here, I would guess. Okay, ordering units. And we've got this one as well. So just keep the city under attack if we can. Keep things going. So our armor here is high on the commander. He's going to be able to stand in the fight for a fairly long time, which means we have to cycle these little units out. Now we've still got the other units coming back in through there. Let's just end our turn in here. It's moved around. Took massive damage there. So we now need to move this one out of the way. Not going to be able to, like, both these units now need to get out and protect themselves. So let's just move up to there. That way they'll be able to just heal up themselves a little bit. Commander goes into the city again. Now this one here doesn't have great movement, I don't think. Yeah, it's got movement of 3. But it can't really reach us. So it's out of it. It's going to not be part of the fight for another turn. Let's just stay here for one turn. I think we're going to be okay. And then we can move it back for healing and still leave these other two to try to finish off the fight. So we'll do the end turn here. That one's been damaged. It's getting ready to move up, which we will have to be careful of up this way. There it is. It's there. Hardly any damage to our commander there. Now we're still over halfway there, so we're still actually fine. This one can move to one of these locations, but can't really do anything else. Come on, we need to get the city down. But they are focusing on this one, which is good. So we'll just keep it going. Yeah, a couple more turns and we're going to be okay. How are we going in here? We've now got the sandstorm, which we don't really want. Yeah, it does reduce our movement, reduces our sight. It does deal damage each turn. Look, I think I'll still just stay where I am. This unit here is actually getting better and better. But I think I'm just going to sit back where I am. I don't want to be getting in close until we've actually healed up. But that sandstorm has now moved on into our current location. I'm just going to stay where I am and heal up. How are we going? So 2 more turns and we get the missile team. 1 more turn and we get the tank factory. End our turn there. Now he's going after the commander again, which is fine. Commander is able to take this. Engineers have now been completed, so had some formal training, most didn't, scientists, blah, blah, blah. So this is the unit for the construction yards, which we have when we first build it. It's essentially can then build the cities, so can found a city. Now the city costs 40. Each city after the first decreases loyalty in all cities by 6, and it does cost more for each city as well. So I'm going to definitely be wanting to go that way next. So we select new research. Now we can get the Cyclone, which is a human unit for the automated factory. Large mechanical anti-air unit with good armor and many upgrades. So it's more anti-air than anything. Doom spotters, performance broadcaster. There's not really a hell of a lot. We've got combat medics, Crusader battle tanks would be great. Construction yard requires tiles. This is extra. We've already got one of them when we build the city, so we've already got one of those. Collective conduit. This is for the habitation block. Survival training. I won't get that one. I've got the mine layer back this way. Creates mines. Again, this is sort of new. We haven't seen this before. Orbital uplink. This is, produces satellite scans, reveals tiles. That would be nice to have as well. Anti-armor grenade. I think I'm going to go back there. Having this +2 health coming every turn is massive. We've almost got this one now under control. That one is now going to have to go back again with the cicada, so it won't heal up as much. That one is not great. I'm not going to get the kill there just yet, so let's just stay where we are. Just keep them healing up. And our cities, one more turn before we get that one. We can go and grab another Outrider, which I will or won't do. I can grab this one now, the Engineers as well. Let's get that one first, because we want to get this next city established as fast as possible, and we need 40 for it to be able to then go and build the city, which we're going to have enough, and influence as well. We've got enough there as well, so we're going to be okay to get our second city. So we'll just let that one come through. That can also heal up. We'll be wanting to get some of those to work in with us as well. We might even use that one. Actually, I'll get two. I'll get one now and then one after we get the next city. And then we'll just clear out wire weed. We'll start to build some roads as well. Maybe connect up. There might be some other opportunities for us to build another city back in here somewhere. Sort of nice and hidden away. The city itself is now asking us about this one through here. I can grab one of those for 30. I've got 5 turns for that one there. So I think I will do this. Let's just go and grab it. Our energy is now going backwards. So we do have to be a bit careful. So we can't build anything else until we actually get this unit now, the Engineers. Commander is doing very well. Except, what do you want? Map exchange. Yeah, let's see what they've got. So they're becoming friendly. And so we've now found a whole lot of stuff there, way up over here. So they've got a city there, and they've got a city right there, actually. That's how they saw us. When we had come through, they had got that one. So we're seeing more and more of the planet now. It's only ZEPHON that we don't know where ZEPHON's other cities are. All right, here we go. So this is actually, we're going to almost get this. Yeah, we will get this one this turn. Okay, so this will then destroy the city, but then we'll still have to deal with the units. So this puts a big dent in ZEPHON's chances. So this one now reduces this one. Now we want everyone to be within 3. 1, 2, 3, they're okay. 1, 2, 3, they're okay. Definitely want to get the experience here. Bang, gone. ZEPHON, ambivalent. To all service personnel, an unexpected disruption means that the facility Capital 85 will be offline for the foreseeable future. All queries will be directed to DAS Tactic. I love that. So your standing with ZEPHON has decreased because of your involvement with the destruction of Capital 85. So it has actually, our standing has gone down. We'll just close that one off. So that then sort of, now the creatures that were there are still ZEPHON creatures. Now we've got this one through here. We need to now go and level up. So we can't get the first one, which is to take cover. Never surrender is the morale, which hasn't really been impacted much yet. So let's go with the Aura of Discipline, just to get more damage. This one's taken a bit of damage in through here, so we can go after it. If we have a look at this one, what's it got? Yeah, shaken. Because of the actual, like, its morale has now been shaken because of what's happened with the city. Let's go with this one, and we've still got this group in through here are now fully back on top, and we do now have the missile group coming in as well. Let's move that one across. So I'll move in with their missile launchers. Now we want to go back to here and grab the militants, bring them down, and then do more damage. Minus 3.7. This thing could still wander off, so I'm just going to move this one back into this area. So eventually the cicadas will disappear, and then we'll be able to heal up really, really well. That is good. Yep, select a unit. Actually, just go to ordered cities. Now I can still get another one of these. Still got 4 turns. I've got plus 10 for there. I'm thinking getting the missile teams would be a second missile team would be good. Let's just go and grab another one of those. Exit the city and end our turn. I've got to be careful I don't chew up too much of the resources. The commander is going to be fine, I think. But we now have to deal with both of these. We now have the anti-armor grenade. Perfect timing. So this is now, we're now going back and select research. Now the mine layer would be cool as well for the Outrider or the Jazina. Yeah, well, maybe we'll go that way. Maybe we still keep on moving across. The Cyclone, maybe it's time to get something like this. We've got ground fire as well. +2 accuracy is good. Let's go that way. Just get ready to keep on sort of moving up through the areas. We're up to turn 27, and in reality, I'm looking to try to get my second city at around about between turn 30 and 50, somewhere in there. So we're going to be on track for that. 50 is a bit late, maybe between 30, 45, somewhere in there. Between 30 and 40 would be ideal. So we're getting okay for the second city. This one here, we're going to be able to do big damage. Now, we do get the protections by being around the commander. I'm just going to shoot at it from in here, although I might as well take this one out. Yeah, we can do big damage in there. In actual fact, I can probably actually... Yeah, I can kill it there. Let's just move this one in. That then allows these to start to do different things. We're getting level ups in there as well. That's great. Any other level ups? No, nothing else. Hardly any damage there. Actually, I will take this one in. Still just stay in the forest. A little bit for the warden. It is now damaged. And we're just going to stay here until we heal up. I think this will be dead before this group gets there. Just end our turn. Commander is on fire. We're down to about 50% of his points, which is fine. There's nothing else that can really do much to damage us, so do I get a shot back over there? No, they don't get to see it there. What about you? This one has got a range of 3. We're not going to see it. This one's damaged, so I'll keep that one back. Just let it heal up. Now we do actually have the grenades, anti-armor grenades. So the anti-armor grenade will do a lot of damage here. So this is ideal for when we go for what we need to sort of next with our units. So we're sort of starting to sort of round things out with those sorts of extra weapons. Oh, here comes another group hitting our missiles. These are Reavers. These are going to hurt. Oh, not too bad, but it did hurt a bit. This is the same group that the ZEPHON was fighting some time back. Now we want this one to move in and use its grenades. It's almost dead. Now with killing this one, it's going to be worth a fair bit. So 1, 2, 3. That's the limits. 1, 2, 3. That's the limits there. And so we need to bring everyone back inside that region. Just going to move this one across. That one's actually inside, but this one's not. So just move that one in as well. And yeah, and whichever one I go with, I can get the kill. So I'm just going to take that one. Good, great experience. All level ups all the way through. Fantastic. So that was a big unit to destroy. With this one through here, with its upgrade, we can go back to more of the take cover. So we now have plus 20% cover damage. So it's going to help by protecting them by 20%. Now, incoming call from back here. This is one of the playing factions. So we'll accept the call. So back here is actually another human. And so Salim Akalim, stranger, my name is Bakir. I was once a teacher, a poet, and a philosopher. Those identities died in the wake of the alien attack, cast aside and forgotten by who I need to be to survive. Still, I dream of resurrecting the old me and the old world with it. Okay. Don't know exactly where he is just yet. I was called prolificate, but you have the true honour and bravery. You value each one of your people, their lives and their happiness. You pay for it every day. It's worth it, I tell you. So you're standing with them as they're cooperative. Now, the practical romantic is the player style, but here is the name of the practical romantic. So if you just go and click on OK, I'll show you a little bit more about him. And so in this case, we'll accept peace with them because they're another human. So we might as well start to cement a relationship with them. We'll close that one. So we don't know where they are, although that might be them there. Yeah, that's actually recycling tanks, and that'll be part of their environment. So it looks like they may be going after the anchorite. Now, to see what they actually are, if we just go back across to the compendium and look at the leaders and go to the practical romantic, we can see human affinity. So it is human as well. I mean, they're all sort of human, but they just align different ways. Scavenger, so units to regenerate resources after defeating enemies. There is hope, so his tongue is as silver as his beard, spinning influence to restore units' morale. Heartfelt loss, the romantics people have had more hope to lose than when disaster struck, so morale losses are increased, and then reallocate. So once a kind soul gave the romantic a second chance, now he does the same for his people, reallocate units to rejoin resources and speed up production. So he can sort of, essentially, he can feed his people into resources to then get other units. So he can sort of recycle his people. So again, a different way of playing. So anyway, we'll see what actually happens with him. So the game is, as I said before, it's grey, not black and white. Things happen all sorts of different ways. Sorry, I've been missing a lot of the comments, guys. And you're not that many, I don't think. You blind the city with 50% accuracy, and the item you'll just equip your commander. I think that actually I should have read that one earlier. Sorry, I didn't even see it. Do we know what the price tag will be? I'm not sure. Trap Layer is saying a 30, I think. So I'm not sure if that's 30 US. Dark Cell Games is saying, hey, I hope there's not a problem to ask, but what happened to your old Dwarf Fortress videos? Like the volcano one, I wanted to rewatch it recently. I've got to go back. I got hacked really badly some time ago now, actually, probably a year ago, actually, when I think about it. But all my videos ended up being privated by YouTube. And I have to go through every single one of them to make sure that there's no cryptocurrency sort of ad inside them. And I just haven't got to the older ones yet. So I do hope to at some point. People keep on asking, so I've really got to do that one at some stage. Anyway, I've got 2 units left to order. The commander can actually go off and attack these Reavers, which I think I'll do. Like, even though he's down to less than 50%, he's going to keep on healing up because of the abilities that we actually have. So what do we have? We had Candle of Glory, Plies Crippled, and we've got Plies Blinded. Let's see if we can do that one. Should be in here if it's something I can do. Drag to move. Oh, there we go. Oh, there we are. Excellent. Yeah, I should have done that with the city. Absolutely should have done it. It's now been blinded for 2 turns, which means its accuracy is going to be much, much lower. We also have this one here, applies crippled, so let's just do that as well. So they're now crippled and blinded. Yep, so minus 50% accuracy. Yeah, I should have done that. I should have definitely done that. I'm going to have to remember to do that sort of stuff. Order units. Move them across as well. They're fighting fit. It is handy having that +2 coming each time. end our turn there. Hardly any damage coming back in. And again, we just want to get this one, we want to make sure that we're 3 away. So 1, 2, 3, that's the limits. Let's move you onto there, just so we can get the travel happening. Move you through. This is healing up nicely each turn. Move that one up. So we get a little bit of experience. They're very, very weak. They're very easy. So we do get a level up in through there. We can't see what's in there because of the weed. I'm not going to worry about it. We've seen everything else now up to this area. So we've seen a fair bit of the map already, which is good. Right, well, I'm thinking there's another cache down that way. So let's maybe move our vehicle down next turn. So I'll move the others now up into the middle of the map. And we'll look for other targets. Oh, hang on, we've got this target up in here as well. Now these are the engineers. And so I'm going to move the engineers. They can do a lot of different things. If we go and try to build a city somewhere, they have to be 4 away from another city. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I could sort of build in around there if I wanted to. We've lost that one up the top there, so we'll go back up for those. If I go Control Z again, I can then sort of see what's around me. There's a lot of food down in here. There's a good spot there, actually. Very good. That will allow a bit of expansion on the other side of the volcano. Energy is a big issue right now. We'll have to get on top of that. We don't have any benefits with energy there. We do with energy up this way. But we have chips here. And chips is not something that we really need. That would be good, way up there. Well, I mean, we do want to be doing this one fairly soon. It's turn 30 now, so we're sort of now, we needed 40, we needed 40 there as well. So I can actually go and build one of these, Found City. So it's definitely worth getting your second city. Absolutely worth getting it, no matter what. Like even if it means your morale crashes, it won't matter because the overall benefit of having the second headquarters is definitely worth the cost. What I'm going to do is I'm thinking of moving to the north. So if I move to there, then 1, 2, 3, 4. If I move up to there, actually, there's a 40-20 at that location there. It would sort of fix up most things. I might build actual mines in there, which means I'm probably going to be wanting to build in here. So let's go and do that. I was thinking of hovering back and getting rid of some of the wireweed, but let's not do that. Let's move this one up. Now, we don't have any protection here. Oh, yes, we do. We've got an outrider. Oh, I should have gone on to the outrider there. Let's just move the outrider up. I'll just go Control Z and we'll figure out the best way after this. There we go. Still got these guys back in here again as well. Yeah, so we'll bring the others back across just to help with this city. Now I've already got the cargo on board here, but this is probably not really the cargo that we want. So let's just go and, sorry, let's do it in the turn. We've got order cities. So we can grab another outrider, which is going to cost me 30, which means I'm not going to be able to build a city. So I don't want to do that just yet. We do want to go, and this one here is going to cost me 5. Next turn we're getting +7, so I've got just enough to get the city. Just enough. I don't want to be building any more of these just yet. So I might as well acquire another tile. I can get 3 there, 3 there. So either one of these will be fine. Let's just go and grab another tile there. Okay, so we'll skip the rest of the city. Down to 35, we're going to get +7. So we're going to have just enough to build the second city. The second city will fix up our energy because of the extra headquarters that we end up getting. So trap learning safety. You played a lot of ZEPHON off stream. I have played a fair amount of it, to be honest, but not a hell of a lot. Like I've sort of there's just been too many other games coming along at the moment. So trap learning scene Daz tactics. You seem to actually enjoy the game quite a lot. You really seem intrigued and quite focused on the game. Yeah, what's your thoughts? Yeah, I do like it. And sorry, I lose track of the chat. I do apologise for that. And Dark Cell Games is saying that really sucks, and I hope everything is going well now. Hopefully in time we can watch your older videos again. Yeah, eventually. I've just got to get to them and then release them. People are actually asking for that series quite a bit, and the Dwarf Fortress tutorials. I've really got to go back and maybe even just look for those and just go. They're fairly old now, but I really should try to get them at least done fairly soon. It's just finding the time to go through every single video. It was a very annoying aspect of what actually happened there. I'm just going to enter turn in here. Now, as long as no one walks there, we're okay. Grounded fire, so research completed. So the operator's keen eye wasn't always enough. Yep, so we now actually have better accuracy for the missile teams. Still need one more. I do want to go and grab the Crusader battle tank. So Reaver immigration. Improves, yeah, let's do this one. Improves diplomatic standing with chiefess over time. Let's just go that way. The Cyclone is in here. We can always come back for that one. Urban sprawl. Actually, the tile acquisition radius is another good one. I think I'll go that way rather than the diplomacy. Let's go that way. Urban sprawl. So, when we have a look and see what we can build in through here, we've got just enough minerals to do this. Now, it's suggesting we go there, which gives us the plus 40. Let's go and do that. So we're just going to go and left click on this one. You'll move in and form a city. Gas heap. And we have got an extra spot there. And you'll see now that we're actually now getting extra energy because of what's happening through here. The trouble we have with this is that because we've now got a second city, our loyalty has gone down. And so the loyalty for each city, and it's important when you're looking at this, I should actually do a bit of a diversion back to how cities work. So when you build, and this is how you've got to then sort of start to think about how you specialise cities and what you want them to do, because specialisation can be quite important with some cities. Again, not so much for this particular faction, but some of them will actually have something very, very definite. One thing I'd really want to be getting through here, for example, would be to get as much in the way of minerals as I possibly can. Now, we've only got 3 minerals left, which means we're sort of a bit of a dead duck in terms of being able to build anything at all. But you'll notice that everything went up. And the reason for that is that the headquarters building has been built in through here. And we did get bonuses here of 20% extra for minerals and 20% extra for energy. And so the energy is now producing 7 per turn. And we're getting plus 1.1 from features. And so these are global things that are then sort of fed in. All of these are global, these different bits and pieces. But loyalty, housing and production are per the city. So they're only per city. And so when we have a look at gas heap, in this case, we're looking at 1 population, 6 housing at the moment, 4 turns before the next growth will be done. And then we have loyalty in through here of -1. So we're getting +6 from the headquarters unit for the loyalty. We are getting -6 because we've now got an extra city. So every city you have reduces that amount of loyalty by -6. And we also have negative loyalty from the population. So, and loyalty, you'll see there that the population dedication to your cause. Each positive point of loyalty increases the city's total resource output by 1%, while each negative point decreases it by 2%, down to -50%. So we have to be very careful with loyalty. Loyalty is pretty much the name of the game in terms of trying to develop your cities. The first city is worth it because of the extras you get through here. So you get a lot with this one. You can see that we're getting -0.2 from loyalty at this point in time. But as we get the next population, it's then going to get worse and worse and worse. So we have to focus on loyalty fairly quickly. We do actually have a loyalty building, the Hollow Theatre, and we will be needing to now grab these as quickly as we can in both locations. This one is bad at -1. We definitely don't want to be in the negatives. Our first city, Dixon, I can actually just go and click on it through here, is actually -5. So we are getting +8 from buildings, -6 from the city count, and -7 from population. Our population is almost at its maximum as well. So we've got the housing gives us a total of 8, and we're at 7 at the moment. And it's going to be, our population growth is 7 turns. So we've got 7 turns to fix this. So we have a bit to do, but we're running out of minerals, and so minerals is a big problem. Now, what I do want to do is I want to go and start to pick up minerals here, where this thing actually is, but we have to get rid of that first. Let's just go and first of all attack it. Actually, the sentries will actually be attacking it with this city. We do actually have the assault rifles back in through there, ×9, and we also have the missile launcher. So let's just go and finish this one off. Oh, hang on, we just only built the city. Used to be able to, in Gladius, we used to be able to do, like, actually build a city and attack. You can't do that anymore. Just do the damage. Missile team coming through. And then all of these. I'll get the missile team up. I'm tempted to drop this one off. Let's move this one up as well. Bring that one across on the road. I love the roads in this game now. Like the roads are, Gladius really needed those roads. Let's just move off. The reason for that is I'm thinking of bringing the commander on board, just to get the commander into the fight quickly. And we'll use this one to go and grab that cache and just check out what's going on down the bottom there. We got a heap of research, that was good. So urban sprawl, we're going to get a little bit earlier than what we thought. Okay, so now we have the 3 in through here. I would like to try to get that. I don't know if I can build that while that's there. I'll just see if I can. So if we go to the concordant, back in through this other side, go back to resources, and what we want is more, we want to sell off something. Now we've actually got 31 algae, and we can get 5, we want to buy minerals, so we want to actually go and buy these. It's going to cost me 10 influence to get 5 minerals. So we'll just go and do that. Don't know if that actually worked. And we want to sell off algae. Yeah, it did actually. Just close that one off. Funny, it doesn't give you a... Oh, it does give you the totals. So yeah, we've now got 8.2 minerals. Now what we needed was we needed 5 minerals to be able to go and build this other slot. If we just go back to gas heap and open her up, we can now go and acquire a tile. Actually, yeah, we can't do it while an enemy's standing there. I can go and grab that one as well, but I don't think I will. I'll just get basic stuff down this way, or I can do it here. Actually, I've got it all the way around, so I'll just go that way for now, just for starters, just to get something built. Looks at the city and end our turn. Urban sprawl. So we now can get the extra tile acquisition radius, which means our cities can go a little bit further. Now we can start to get the Crusader battle tanks, large mechanical vehicle with a versatile cannon, good armor, and many upgrades. So this is really going to be our core mech unit. Let's just go that way. So without even looking at the other stuff, I'm sort of running out of time in this. With 3 hours in, actually, we have really only just touching the start of the mid game, to be honest. Like at least we've done a little bit of diplomacy. This city will be able to wipe this thing out. So let's get everyone in close. Again, 1, 2, 3. We need to be there. I can bring this into the city as well, by the way. The city has got up to 3 units can be in the city. So it won't stand on the city. It will actually go inside the city. So let's just move it across to here. Another sandstorm billowing up in there. The sandstorms come from the desert. So I do get some damage there. I might as well just take it. Oh, anyway, that was not what I wanted. And I can bring this one in. So 1, 2, 3. We can just get there with the commander. I particularly want to get the commander getting some of the benefit there. Just move that one across. Move that one along the road. So there's roads as we get across in through here. This is an area that I think people will ultimately mod. We'll try to make roads look bigger or better in the actual base game. Let's just move on down. See what else we can find here. We're still on the river. The river slows us right down. there's nothing else for us to see here except for what, like, there'll just be water, I would assume, in there. So we might just go and have a quick look in here and then zip on off. We do have executed queued orders somewhere where... Oh, we've still got to get this as well. I really should go back with something to go and grab that. We want to get a road established up this way as well. We now got 20 minerals. Got the queued orders, which maybe this one. Yeah, it's the queued orders is to destroy this. Bit of experience coming in. Level up in through there as well. Nothing for him. That's okay. Order cities. So in this case, I'll now put the barracks back to sleep again. And what do we need? Energy, we've now sort of... Well, we need the Hollow Theatre really urgently. So I'm going to grab it there. And that affects the whole city. So that's just going to sort of round out our loyalty problems. So we definitely need that one in there. We'll exit the city and end our turn. The loyalty has a big bearing on how you go with your resources. Everything that gets built is then slowed down. Loyalty is the one factor. When you play these games, whether it be Gladius or this one, the only benefit really, they do have level benefits, the actual, when you're playing on higher difficulty levels, but the main benefit that the AI gets is it's cheaper for them with loyalty, and that's it. That's all it actually has. So the AI is great in these games. Well, let's just end our turn. As in, they're very, very complex. They play like a human. Oh, here we go. Didn't see those. And we're going to have to deal with them. They just became unleashed. We've got issues here, actually. We have to move off. Come back in with some of the others. So start to move them in. I'll move these in as well, just so we can clear them off. Now we know that there's another one from when we were fighting earlier, back up in this area. So let's go and put this one on board there. So that way we can have both Outriders going in with some units. Need to sort of scout out of here a little bit. Let's just go into here. Oh, there's another cache. Get our commander on that cache. The Hungering Circlet. What does this one do? So plus 33% attacks if unit was damaged this turn. Don't really need it, I don't think. I think I'll just keep it. So order units back in through here. Got this Outrider as well. Let's move it into here. We know that there's another unit there. There they are. There they are. Oh, they're everywhere. Now we are damaged. We're down to 50%. We'll keep on moving these up as well. So they're sort of out. It doesn't take much to actually really suffer in this game. In this case, got a bit of trouble, and I can't really move that. They've only moved that one straight on there, so we can't even do anything with that one. I'm just going to have to end my turn here, and hope that these. Okay, that's good. I think we'll be okay. Yep, we're okay. We're on fire, but we're okay. Now they're moving out across the other side. I didn't think I'd be able to do that, but we'll see how we go. So your people hope that they will return to the surface and find an untended wilderness, not a world of monsters and the vile ZEPHON machines. So it's almost like a Fallout game in a way as well. Reports regularly came in of refugees who wandered too close to the Warden's territory that was slaughtered in the trespass. What is ZEPHON doing in there? Ironically, it is the monsters who know something about the machines. Your comms team is surprised one day to hear the voice of an Akron leader, the anchorite, broadcasting on an old AM radio frequency. Sounds like a preacher, yeah, blah, blah, blah. So we're getting a bit of a backstory through there. I won't keep on going on about it. I actually don't like the backstory much in the game, to be honest. Like, it's one of the weakest elements of the game for me. I'm liking most things, but that's not one of them. Okay, so we've done that one. Let's move across here with the commander. He's going to be able to do a lot of things against these busters. These sandstorms have wandered off a little bit, which is fine. Bring this one across. I'll move these around this way. I don't quite get the kill, but if I now move off, actually I'll move that one up into that location. This will then give me the kill and give me the experience all the way around. So we'll just do that. Okay, so we've got the unit in through here. This can now attack this. I'm thinking I'm now really want to go off in this direction. So let's just go and set the rally point to there. Oops, hang on, it's going to be left click. And they did heal up pretty well. Yeah, so it's moving around the back. Bring this one across. Water cities. In this case, I've still got 3 turns before we get that one. I'm not going to worry about any more infantry. Not going to worry about any more outriders just yet. So I'll put that one to sleep. Everything else is looking good there. So I'll just go to the city as well. This one now can start to do other things. I do want to start to get more minerals. We do get, I think I'm going to have to get a power plant. So let's go and grab one of those there now. Actually, one thing we will have to do is get a hollow theatre. So I'll grab that one now, but we will also have to get, one thing I forgot to do here was to pick up, look, one more turn and we get the maximum growth. So we do need to get the habitation block fairly urgently. Just end our turn in here. It's just wandering around aimlessly. 1, 2, 3. Yep, we can get to just inside that location. That's fine. And we'll have to move out from here. Yeah, we can get a bit more damage there done there. Nice long range. Alright, this one's still injured. So I don't want to be moving off too much with this one. But there is still other units in here that we have to deal with. Let's send the commander in. See what he can find. Because we've got a cyber cache there. Let's move this one on board there. Now if I go to there I can't get the shot in. I can from over here. Let's do that. Got hammerheads coming over as well. This one's injured. I'm just going to keep it sort of just back where it was. And behind the sandstorm at this stage. End our turn. Oh, hijack. So they're coming in thick and fast. This is where you really have to now think, okay, look, this is now getting too dangerous for this unit. We now have the Crusader battle tank research, so we'll select new research in through here. We've got the combat medics as well, biological infantry that can heal. I think that's a good one, without even really looking at it, anything too much. So this one here is balanced progress. So this is actually something where we can get research costs for human, cyber, and voice. And you can see this is a trait for the fallen soldier. So we can get sort of unique text as well. It's so much more advanced than what, in one sense, than what Gladius was. There's a lot more in this game. Now we get extra growth. Energy, we get +1 hit points each turn. That's actually great. This is for Undying, which we have. I might get that, actually. Let's just close that one off. So this unit, now we do actually have the missile teams. I will keep the missile teams back, and we'll now go after this. It's those hammerheads. Yeah, I can still do damage there. I'll just scoot it around the outside. Bring that infantry up. That will then kill this one. It's now shaking these as well. And we get a bit of experience with that hammerhead going. I've got 2 lots of Reavers. Now you can see there their morale is dropping there. Theirs is still pretty good. We're going to get only one of the 6 with this kill here. I think it'll still be okay. Let's just go for it. Now the militants that are here, let's just keep on scouting around a little bit and see what else we can find. Clear out all of the wandering stacks from inside the side. We're now getting back up again with our minerals again, which is actually fairly healthy. I'll play. Actually, if we go back into here, the Crusader battle tank requires 60 of these, and we've got 48, so we only need 12 more to be able to go and grab one of these. So I think what I'll do is I'll go back to the Concordant. I love this. I love that they've put this in. So we need to get more. We've got 144 influence at the moment. Let's go and get the three of these. It's going to cost me. Sorry, not to, we need to buy it. So it's going to cost me 30 influence to then go and get this. 2, 3. Okay, so we've actually now got the minerals that we required. We'll just go and close that one. So we can now go and grab our Crusader battle tank. So we'll just go and get that one established. 8 turns before we can get that one, unfortunately. But we're going to get the hollow. The hollow theatre will then increase our production in here as well. The production is being hindered because of the morale. So that will be good. We'll exit the city and end our turn. Now, reaction fire from the city is good. So we're getting the dust sort of blowing up in around the place. Chief S is angry. Heard you had one to kill. Had to let go then. So the aggressiveness has a major impact on this decision. You're now at war. So what actually happened here? You want war, you're a fool. Don't know. Did that mean that we actually damaged one of their units? Standing with Chief S is increased because of your... okay, so they're gone back to being reserved, but they have actually gone back. They're actually cooperative. So hello, Dad's tactic. We see that you're engaging in a war with the chiefess. So yeah, they would make noises. So there is a personality trait with each of them as well. They do play quite differently. They're not just reskins of the same thing. Like ZEPHON is very philosophical about everything. He doesn't hold grudges. The chiefess does. So they do have different personalities in the with the AI as well. Just move that one up. That means that we're probably going to have to get rid of her city as well, actually. We'll move it back across and think about that. But again, they'll be scaling up as well. The city, we can just keep on sort of smashing. I don't know what it was that caused the issue. These are Reavers, which is technically sort of aligned with her, but they're not her units. She's at war with them as well. Let's just go back down this way. There we go. We're going to... It's going to do a little bit of damage to us, which is then going to mean that we end up doing less damage out here, which is interesting. Can fire across the cliff. This is where the cliff indicator is very important, because it's quite hard to see that cliff there without that cliff indicator. At the start of this stream, I did show you how to turn that on in the settings. So if you just go back into your settings again, it's just going to be under General. Show cliff highlights. It's very, very important to be able to see that one, because strategically If we just go continue, we know that we're attacking across them. These guys have got a machete attack. They can't attack across the cliff using that machete attack. And so we'll just do the damage here. We're going to get them killed anyway. But we can fire across the cliffs. They can't, because ours are fully ranged. So we're clearing this area out, which is quite good. We'll just stay back there until we get heal up. This one leveled up now, which is great. So we'll just go back to the hero, go back to the level ups, and we'll just go with more, more accuracy, which means more damage. Let's just see what else we can spot. Move them up. Now, one thing we want to get from Dixon as well is the habitation block is the next thing we have to get. So we'll go this way and grab that one from in here. Because we're now at maximum population and we don't want to be sitting around. We've got one turn before growth goes up, and we're going to now, it's going to take us 4 turns to do this. We're going to lose out on 3 turns of growth, which is actually quite important that we actually don't let that happen. So I'm a little bit behind with what I should have done there. We do want to get our second city up pretty much established within a, as soon as we possibly can. We've got to focus on that. The third city will then sort of round out your everything so that it sort of levels things out in terms of the viability, where we just need to get more and more loyalty with everything we do. So we're going to need to get another loyalty building, not before we build it, but we're going to have to get that one fairly soon afterwards. So just be aware that that is a factor you have to sort of take into account as you're doing things. We'll exit the city in through here. And we'll end our turn. They're still firing on our commander. Doing a bit of damage there as well, but we do get that healing, that all-important healing. So I'm going to move up into here. Do big damage there. Move into the desert and I killed them off before I really oh no, they're still there. Good. Because what we want to make sure of is we want these to actually get the experience. So let's just get on board the vehicle, and you'll see there that there's like a little pip underneath it. So this is actually improvements over the user interface or user experience type thing that what Gladius had, which is quite handy. We'll go to the advanced cyber cache and see what they've got in there. Oh, I couldn't make it through. I thought we could. This one can. Picked up heaps of energy. Okay, so that's good. And we get the kill here. Now the Chiefess has got another city right above us. The Devil's Backbone. So I think we'll go and have a look at that one. I might do this in 2 parts actually. I might play again. When can I get back to it? When can I get back to it? Probably be a couple of days, I think. I'm thinking I could come back in a couple of hours because I really enjoy playing this. It is very, very enjoyable to play. Like Gladius was too. I used to love playing Gladius. I could play it forever. In this, yeah. So, God, which way do we go with it? There's a lot to consider here. I'll just keep on having a bit more of a hunt around and just see what else we can spot. There's another cache. This is dangerous to have this unit out on its own. I'm just sort of trying to scout into safe locations like ruins, forests, things like that. It's not a lot that we can sort of see there. So, yeah, I think I'll actually leave it here, guys. So, so I hope I've shown enough in this one, but I would like to show more of the mid game and the end game. So I'm thinking I do want to play another 3 hours, but I better not do that today. I'll do it another, like in a day or two's time, I think. So just going through, I'll just read any more of the comments that I've missed. I don't have that many. So wait, hang on, I'll just start where I left off. So yeah, Voodoo Dog saying, wait, there are advanced resources. Not so much. These are just the resources. So like it is just a group of resources that are there. We have resources that we're not really using, like the algae and the chips. I'm not sure which one you were referring to. Muzzle Paint saying the King of the Nerds is live. Thanks for that one. All hail the King. So Gaming by Medic is saying would approaching this game in the same way you'd approach Gladius a safe way to play? Yes, it is. It's an unforgiving game where the AI is incredibly good. Most games, the AI does not pulse its attacks. This game will, and Gladius will as well. It will actually figure out where it should be defending, where it should be attacking. It will figure out, can it actually, if it's going to be attacking, it will try to figure out if it can actually, what units will end up needing to be sacrificed to get the attack through. So it's actually extremely well, like the AI in this game is exceptional. And so it's same as Gladius. They both got incredible AIs. And so in that sense, you have to be very, very cautious when you play, because that is a major feature of the gameplay. Trapler is saying final thoughts. I'll come back to that in just a second. So Dave is saying thanks for the stream, really interesting. It's a great game. And saying, by Murdoch saying thanks, Daz. Voxtra is saying it's a general improvement upon Gladius. Yes, it is, but superficially it doesn't look it, and that's sort of where I really wanted to make this video, because when you approach the combat is almost identical in terms of how you do the calculations. So a lot of the tool tips, like the ways of playing, are the same. WASD doesn't move the map around, which is sort of weird. Actually, I've just accidentally clicked on a button there and done something because it was a keyboard shortcut. I just did WASD. Then you can use the arrow keys, and so that's a very old way of playing these sorts of games. I know that even in Gladius, people used to actually set up their keyboard shortcuts differently so that they could use a WASD, because it's just muscle memory now. So that's something that I think, it's things like that are weird, where they really should have modernized the user interface in that sort of sense. Or have options for new players or players who aren't used to Gladius to do it that way. I still default to WASD even for these sorts of games. So a lot of it, when you look at it, it's a very, very common comment is it's just a reskin of Gladius. But there's so much more, and I hope I've done enough in this video to sort of show the differences. I'm glad that many of you have actually come through with the negatives of the perceptions of the game, because the only real way of actually figuring out if you want to play the game or not is to see the differences with the way it sort of does work. And so in this particular case, the big differences are the terraforming terrain, and this isn't terraforming, but the dynamic terrain. In this case, we've got sandstorms. We'll have other things as well. Cicadas will come from the forests. What else is there? Just trying to see if there's any other sorts of things in around the place. But there is also actual terraforming as well. Depending on what the environment is, it will actually chop and change. I'm not seeing any swamps. Swamps will often become forests. Depending on what's around it. So the world will change and adapt. Even the bleed will actually grow if given the right environment to then grow into. So there's all sorts of different things with the actual terrain itself changing over time, which is really, really cool. That actually sort of works out very, very nicely. There is, I think you can burn terrain as well. I don't know if it actually deforms away to wastelands and stuff. I haven't really noticed that. But that's one big aspect. Of course, things, for example, like the concordant is a nice, simple way of actually managing your trading. You've got both items and resources. I can sell that one for, say, 20 if I wanted to, but we can get resources and items, which does, we've used that a bit just to free things up. I really like that because it makes it so that you can, it's a bit more forgiving in that sort of sense because of that aspect. The diplomacy, of course, really, really cool. Again, in this case, there's still two other playing factions that we haven't come across yet. And so you can see through here, this is peace and cooperative. We could go in and try to get even closer there. We're only now at peace with the anchorite. We're now back at war and reserve with the chiefess, and war but cooperative with ZEPHON. So ZEPHON possibly would actually would have peace. If we go back and talk with back here, maybe, and just quickly call him, just see what other things. So offering a trade agreement. He may not accept this one, a map exchange. We could then sort of see where each other actually is. So let's just go and trade agreement. So, yep, I've survived starvation, yeah, blah, blah, blah. So your high standing had a major impact on his decision. So he actually has gone with that one. So we can then next offer an alliance. So I need allies. Hell, you do too. Will you work with me with this? Let's just see if we can do that straight away. Whatever made you believe we had such trust between us? No, I've heard all the stories about you, and I've even told a few myself. So the lack of affection for you have had a major impact on this decision. So in this case, they are friendly, but they haven't actually, like, they didn't go ahead with that particular one. So I don't think they did. It gets a bit confusing, but we're not an ally just yet. So we're going to need to sort of work a little bit more on getting them up, whether it be through offering gifts or something along those lines. But anyway, it's a simple system. Just end the call in through there. And so this one is now, we now have the trade agreement and we are friendly. We can sort of see that through there. The anchorite, we could possibly do that as well with the alien presence on the world. But we'll just go and close that one off, which is cool. So we now have the trade agreement with them, which will then sort of slowly give us a little bit of extra resources over time. So this is also working fairly well. We've produced the Hollow Theatre back in Gas Heap, which then has changed the our loyalty is now higher, which means we get bonuses. There's not a lot we can do in here at the moment. I could build another engineer. I think I'll just go and queue one of those up. But yeah, it is a really, really good improvement on Gladius. So now what did we get up to? Sorry. Yes, David's saying thanks for streaming, really interesting. So Gaming Biomedic saying played a lot of Gladius, so I figured the AI is still great. If this game, yeah, that's exactly right. Fox was saying, do you think people who might bring in the Warhammer models to the game? Maybe as a mod, I'm not sure. No naval combat? No, there's no naval combat. Not that I've seen, actually. I'm pretty sure there's not. Otherwise, I would have seen it in the units list. So, yeah, so this is it's a really, really good, like, it's certainly not just a Gladius reskin. I hope you can see that. I hope you can see just the nuance even of the, like in this case, we haven't gone after, trying to create cyber units, but we certainly have the opportunity with these chip factories that we found. We are producing chips, but I'm mainly using these to trade so I can get other things. Like I can convert the chips essentially into what we need in food or whatever else, like minerals in particular. We've been getting a lot of those just to be able to supplement what we're actually up to. Now, it's a really, really good game, like very, very good. So it's certainly yeah, as I said before, superficially it really looks like a reskin of Gladius, but once you actually start to scratch away at it, there's so much more in it. So and it really does play with a lot of nuance that you don't really sort of notice. Anyway, guys, I'm going to leave it here. I do want to come back and play more of it, just so we can get even deeper into the mid game. But I think that this particular video, if you sort of watch it from the start, hopefully will give you a few tips on how to approach the game and make it a bit more fun for you. It is a game that is unforgiving, so don't just feel that you can go off and scout everywhere and just do everything you need to do like in other games. And also don't get trapped into thinking you can just build multiple cities and get ahead that way. I tend to find that 3 cities and I'm done with these games. 4 sometimes if I can afford it, but I have to really work on getting the morale really on top of the morale for a 4th city to be viable. So that's one big tip I'd give you, is it's not a matter of expanding everywhere as fast as you possibly can. That is really not the game, but you do need to try to get 2 or 3 cities established pretty quickly. That gives you a massive advantage, but after that you really don't need any more cities for the whole game. As I say, maybe a 4th later on, but you really don't need it. Try to specialize your cities a little bit, like with what they can build. For example, I can build multiple of the, for example, the automated factories somewhere and have them actually, like if I build 2 of them in my capital, I may decide, okay, I'm going to specialize my battle tanks being built from here by having a 2nd factory set up, and in through here where I don't actually have any research benefits, because the factory will give me 2 research benefits. I might then think, okay, well in that case I'm just going to go with 2 lots of barracks and produce infantry. So I can start to specialise, but eventually we're also going to then be building aircraft and all sorts of different things. So so the specialisation of what you build and what you do in the cities can be important. Anyway, guys, I'm going to leave it there. So thanks for watching, and as I say, I'll be back in a couple of days maybe to play more of this, I think. I would like to play deeper into the actual game to show just how the AI performs. We saw the ZEPHON, we hit ZEPHON in the early part of the game. ZEPHON will be a very different kettle of fish now in the mid game. And the Chiefess as well will actually be something where we've got her pretty close. There's this city here, Devil's Backbone, a level 8 city, and she's also got a level 7 city over through here. So we might go and try to wipe her out, I think, in the next phase. Just get her completely out of the game. She may have developed other cities, but I'm thinking she probably hasn't. So, but we'll find that she'll actually have a much stronger force than what we're probably really going to be expecting. But anyway, I'm going to leave it there, guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Please like and subscribe if you like this sort of content.